one of the things these figures do is they always fall over. So I've got a quick video tonight on how to 3D print some of these figures. Thanks for watching, whoever's out there. If you watch this later, so it's not too bad to print. Yeah, these Steve mentions that. Yeah, these just pop out of nowhere. Yeah, this is a last minute one. I was away for a few weeks and didn't get a chance to stream, so I've been printing these simple bases. I got some new stands for my monitor because you always run out of room to put your figures when you have too many action figures. So little figures like this, so the buggers keep falling over off my monitor. So that's the photo that I have up there on top of my monitor. So I got a new stand, and I said, well, let me a new monitor stand. So I said, let me print something that's pretty simple. And some people have these on. They're basically just little stands, and you just have to change the settings on how you print these. So yeah, I never have any set times. I'm random. Yep. So, but Jed, I guess you can hear me this time, though, right? So at least that's working. I guess people can hear me, which is an improvement. So basically, and Steve is in the audience. He's an expert graphic artist. So I'm just basically try to figure things out, how to get it done, and always try to figure out when I've got a project. I know a lot of things, but maybe not some of them not too well, but just enough to get by, I guess would be the right way to put it. So basically, there's 3 pieces of software you can use for free. There's a Mesh Mixer, which is a Adobe Autodesk. It's Autodesk software, and that's free to use. It's really simple 3D program, and also Ultimate Cure, which I use for my 3D printer, and that's basically 2 pieces of software, I should say, that you need to do. And of course, obviously, you need a 3D printer. If you wanted to get real fancy, you could use Blender or ZBrush, but it's kind of overkill for a base like this, unless I've seen some, if you want to add some textures or do something that's kind of fancy. So basically, Jed's saying, yeah, at least you got the microphone to work for the first time in 20 seconds. Couldn't hear. Yeah, I didn't add myself to the stream. Yep. Oh, we got I guess we got Clobberin Times stop by to say hi too, I guess. So I don't know if you can hear him. Yep. We got to print some 3D Clobby bases. Let's see if he's Steve Mitchell. He's learning Blender now. Very different from Maya. Yep. So Blender is the free software that I've just been toying with to try to print some things. But I guess if you've learned once you've learned one software, it's tough to teach these old dogs new tricks. But then you get the hang of it after a while, I guess. Yep. How's it going, Clobberin Times?
What's up, dude? You hear me?
I can hear you now. Yep.
Oh, you got an overlay there. I couldn't tell if I was on or not, dude. I'm sorry.
Oh, here, let me. Actually.
No, it don't matter the overlay, but I didn't know I was on because I had no way of knowing.
Yeah, that's what happens, right? Yep. Typically, what I do, I block. I screw up and I block when I try to share the video, and I figure out in 5 minutes later, hey, you've got the dummy, you've got the overlay on. That's why you can't see the screen that you're sharing.
I had no idea that I was on there, man. So just stopping in to say hi. What's going on with you, bro?
Yeah, not much. Just hanging out. Haven't streamed in a while, so figured I'd do a simple 3D printing tutorial. So we'll get you 3D printing soon, right? And
I'm sure, yeah.
We'll get you doing that, and then so you can 3D print, and then it'll be we got to print some prisoner figures and things like that, right? Yeah.
Well, yeah, I ordered one if they ever come out, but that'll be like next year.
Yeah. So we those will be out, and then I guess there's also that's the thing, like you could print an actual whole figures. You can't really do. You could print kind of like a statue that you can't move. Basically, that's the most common thing that you could that you can print. But
not articulated figure.
Yeah, you can do like if they're bigger. Like I saw this awesome. The robot from what's the big huge from Iron Giant. I saw something do that. It was like really big. The bigger you make it, if it's really big, then you can articulate it. But and then Steve is in the chat. He's the expert 3D artist. So I'm sure he has all these things he could whip out really fast. So, but here I'll show you how. Let me share this screen here. Let's do share screen. Let's see. So this is the world of 3D. So this is real simple 3D printing. So basically, this is just the figure base. So I'll hide it and start from scratch. But let me get rid of that one. That's the copy. So you've just got the base. It's just a disc, and you've got 2 pegs. I don't know. You can't get much more simple than this. But if you didn't have a 3D printer and you wanted to have some, I think in the old days that you could buy bases for action figures sometimes, or it was like a special order, but it wasn't easy to get. So with the 3D printer, it makes these things so much easier. So this is really, so even Clob, no offense, but even Clobby could do this, right? So
no,
and if I taught myself
not
that,
only no offense, but I don't even believe you.
all right, so we want to create the base, right? So all we do mesh mix up here. So I can
make popcorn. That's it.
You can make popcorn, right? Yeah. So we're basically just going to make a part here. So of course now this is let's see, select the target here. So let's do mesh. Let's start from scratch here. So I'll close this file. So let's do a new file, and we'll do create a wholly. Let's do import, and then we'll do replace, and we'll do we're gonna do blank here. Let's see, file, open. Let's see, yes, we want to discard that. Go ahead, start from. Let's just close mesh mixer. We'll start from scratch. Don't save. So let's do start. See, I can't even get the file to start here. There we go. So here's the blank. So if you just click, we'll just start with a blank here, right? So we're going to do mesh mix, and we're going to just make you just click a cylinder here. You just literally drop it there, and we're going to make it 25 millimeters. Yeah, you got to think metric, and we're going to make it just to accept like that. Yep. So you click on it, then we're going to do edit, and we're going to do transform it. So we got it. So we're going to make it, we don't want it that thick. We want it 3 millimeters high, which is pretty thin. So you just hit that. Oh, we had uniform shading on. We don't sizing on that. So we want a 25. And then see how it's 25. So the size is changing. So then
Steve
Steve
Mitchum should be here with you, buddy.
Steve should be here. Yeah. So yeah, it's so easy. Even a caveman can do it. Yep. and then we can just move this up. You just click that arrow there. You can change the size there, or you can click the arrow and just move it up to the top of the base here. So we're gonna make that 3 millimeters again, like that. Oh, here we go, 3 millimeters there. And let's move that so it touches the. You can see the coordinates here. So I think it's on the center there. So we're gonna do 1.5. The origin's the center. So let's do that. So that's in the middle there. So that's your disc. So that's how simple it is to do a disc here. You do accept. We can get rid of that plane there. And then we're just going to add 2 more pegs here, right? So all we do mesh mix, and we're going to do another cylinder. We're just going to drop it right there. And we're going to make this one, say, 4 millimeters or 4.0, like that, and accept. And then we're going to you could duplicate this. We're just going to do it again. So we're just going to do, let's move this one over first where we want it to go. So we'll do edit, transform, and you can just literally just move this sucker around like that. Just get it out of the way. And we're going to add another one. So here we go. So we're going to do edit our mesh mix here on the cylinder. Drop that here. And we're going to do 4 millimeters. Boom. Accept. So literally you've got your, now what you want to do is line these guys up. So you do edit, transform, and we're going to check the position here. So it's 4 by 4 by 4, and it's telling you where it is. So you can just line these. You can move it around and line. Oh, not that one. I want to move. Grab the arrow here if you rotate. So what we can do is move these pegs in relation to each other, and once you have them lined up, you can go back in and just change the sizings, and you can see where the X, Y, and Z is on there. So you just put in the coordinates. You can actually just line them up with each other. So if I do accept there, then I can check this other one, edit, transform, and you can see where where it's located. So that's basically all it is. It's probably about the most simple thing that that you can do. Yeah. So so I'll turn on my camera. Well, here, let's do the next step. So once you've got this, I'll open these up. So open these up.
Steve is spiritual, apparently.
He's giving me spiritual support. Yep. So basically what I did, I just made all different size pegs. So of course all these figures have different sizes. I think what might be easier to do is just drill the suckers out, which is what I started doing. So and I can upload these or put them on a Google Drive. So basically you've got, these are different versions, and where you can do, some of the figures have wide feet, and some of the figures have feet that are closer together. So if you do edit, transform, and you can see the location here, and you can just change the size. So like if, say the peg was 3.5 millimeters, you just measure the peg and then just go 3.5 and accept, and see how that got skinnier. So if I do it, just make it really skinny, just so you can see the difference, like 1.5 here. So then it's just so easy to do. And then once you've done that, you just do file. Let's see. You take all these. Let me go back so they look. Let's go back like that, so it's correct. The next step is you want to solidify these and make them one body. So you select all these in the browser here. You combine them, and now we've got the base here. And you can click Make Solid, and then let's make it a little bit more accurate. Probably doesn't matter too much. If I click Update, it's gonna. Let's see. There it goes. So see, it's a little bit more accurate, and then you just do Accept, and now you just do File, Export, and then you save it as a STL file like that, which I'm sure Steve knows all about. And you just pick, I give it a description to what it matches, and that's it. And then you go into Cura, which is your 3D program for your 3D printer, where the magic happens. Yep. And then you just tell it to print. So I'll show you what. Then I'll turn the camera on, show the ones that I did. But I got so many of these. Do you have any of these Lego mini type figs, Clobby? Or
I have no Legos. I'm afraid not.
No Legos.
No Lego.
Oh.
Not one.
You don't have the Fantastic Four ones, or
Not a one. I think I probably had some as a kid. Maybe it was when but no. As far as like all the different genre related Legos and all that kind of stuff, that started way after I ever touched a Lego.
Yeah.
No, I never got one.
Yeah, the first ones that I had were like they weren't like branded. Like they weren't. They had like Journey to Space. It was like a space thing, which is costs a fortune now. Like, but Lego was so smart by getting all those the brands. Getting the Marvel, Batman, DC, Star Wars, because their patent went out on Legos, so anyone can copy them. So that was really brilliant by them to, come up with all the buy the rights to the IP and come out with those. So that was super smart. Yeah, Steve Mitchum. Well, that's a good Lego Mago.
That's true.
He does have a Lego to stand. That's bad. That's so bad. That's good. So all you do here, you got your you import you so you go into I've got the stand. You got the file that you exported. So you just grab that one, say, and it goes into the middle of the you can see the if I hide this, it shows you what the printer looks like and how big it is, which is really cool. I mean, I started doing CAD software, it was like, stone knives and bear skins. It was just so primitive when you first did CAD on a computer or tried to do anything like this. And just, it's so cool to see this stuff. And the basic settings. So let's go to here. Let's go to basic 3D printing. Layer height is how high each layer is between each other. So the smaller the layer height, the longer it's going to take to print. So for something like this, it doesn't really matter. So 0.2 is fine. Infill is how dense it is. So you could do maybe 10% is fine, or 20%. If you do 100%, it takes forever. The temperature is based on the material. So that's 200 Celsius is PLA. And then the speed, basically you don't have to touch any of this stuff. But so Clobberin Times, there's going to be a quiz at the end of this. Just kidding.
Cool, I can't wait.
Yeah, all the settings, yeah. But this is all technical, mumbo jumbo, but it's just the basics, the basic stuff. So when you're learning to 3D print, you kind of just experiment. But
basic to you.
Yeah, basic to me. Yeah, I've
been
doing it long enough. Yeah.
Clean on to me.
Yeah. Well, here for fun, we'll slice. You click slice, and I'll pull up like a fun, something that's fun to look at. So this is just going to take 10 minutes. So you click preview, and it's going to show you how the printer is going to move. So if you zoom in here and you go back, that's layer 27. So it shows you each layer, and you click play, and it's going to show you what the 3D printer is going to do, as like a little mini machine going around, showing you every step, so you can double check to see what's going to happen. So that's layer 1. We're not going to do every layer, of course, but then you can see layer 2. Let me zoom in. It's pretty wild how it, it shows you how it builds it. So that's the 10% has a lot of, gaps in there that makes the pegs. But say we wanted to make it, let's try for craziness. Let's try 50%. So let's go here and make it. Well, it doesn't matter 100%. Who cares, right? Except, yeah, slice, right? So now we preview this. So let's hide this so it's out of the way. See how it's all totally solid, and it's going to take 3 more minutes. So what, right? I mean, but for something big, that could take longer. But the cool thing is you can see how it's going to print. And say you want to print like 10 of them at once, you right click on it, you do multiply selected, and let's do another 8 more, say, right? So there we go. Slice that. How long is that going to take? So 2 hours. So let's say let's make it go back to 10%. Let's see what the difference is. Let's do 10%. For fun, let's see what the... So, yeah, so you saved, almost 40 minutes there. So that's how you could do, if you have a bunch of these figures, you could just print them all, I would always test one first. And what I kept doing was changing the size of the pins. So the pins were always, it was driving me crazy. I'll switch to my camera, but it was printing them a little bit too big. So so if the pin size was like 4 millimeters, I would print it like 3.8 or 3.9. But anyone watching, you can go out there and experiment, and just, the nice thing is just change the size and print one and see what, see how it comes out. Let's grab something kind of fun to show how that would print. Yep. Let's see. So I think I got some, where's that thing that I have here? Let's see. That was pretty cool. I think I have it under comics, maybe. Let's see. Where the heck is that hiding? Let's see. Comic books. Where's that really cool thing bust here? This is really wild. Yep. There we go. So that one's really cool. I think I've shown you that one.
Yeah, oh my goodness.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So they're saying there's some errors with the thing. So I guess the red spot, there's some errors. So you could open it in another program and fix it. But I think it'll work. But then the cool thing is I could actually print. I could click on this Ben Grimm and I can scale him. I could say let's make him 200% the original size. Got to do one that big. Yep. You could print. I mean that. That's pretty big. Let's see how big I can get. Let's say maybe 250. If I make this, it's 220 is the max, so 220 on that side. Let's see. Yeah, so that's that's pretty damn big.
Wow. How big is that thing going to be?
Well, that one would be 220 millimeters, which is, let's see, I designed in metric, so 220. That's like a foot and a half, I think. 220 millimeters. The inches, that's 9 inches. Yep, that's still pretty. Let's see how big we can. Yeah, you can't go past that. So something like this, you could. It's oversized. You can actually click on, and I could actually rotate it. And I could, if I grab this blue line here, sometimes you print it like at an angle. You can get it to
wow.
print it. Let's see here, scaling back down a little bit. And you do center selected. Yeah, so it's warning me he's off. There you go. But it's pretty. Yeah, 210. Anyway, so that's a pretty big Benji.
Nice, dude. That's amazing.
That's a cool. I didn't draw this obviously.
No, I know. Sure.
Yeah, but it's still whoever the artist is awesome that did this. So let's see how long this one will take, right? So let's slice this. This one's gonna take a while here. I printed a few of these. I printed one the original size, and then I printed a few small ones that my buddy Chris painted for me. So came out. That's one of the ones I've shown. Yep. So I'll have to show that off on the FF show this weekend again. I guess.
Sure.
Maybe.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, the FF is pretty old now, right? 60. God. Unbelievable.
60 years old, dude. Well, they will be Sunday.
So Steve Mitchum is saying, speaking of the thing, I found out I have an ancestor named George Grimm. Was he look like a pile of rocks? Or that's pretty cool. Yep. Yeah, Steve's saying the error are holes, n-gons, non-manifold geometry. I'm not sure on this one, Steve. I'd have to pull it into another program and check it, but it's printed okay before, so that was actually new. I guess maybe Cure added something to tell you that there's an error in the drawing. So I think I don't know if that. Well, the red area is where it needs supports, I think, but there must be something going on with this model. But that's what happens. You get things off the internet. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, Steve is saying if I sculpted the thing from the cover, this model. Yeah, definitely could. Love to print that. Yep.
Even better than that cover is the splash page.
Or the splash. Yep. The splash page. Yep. So
because the one on the cover is not really bad.
That's the guy from Alternate Universe. Spoiler alert. Yeah.
Not Alternate Universe. Just the guy who stole his powers. If you haven't read that by now, I got nothing for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. So this to print this would take 4 days, 0 hours, and 37 minutes.
Wow, dude.
So yeah, it'd be worth it. Yeah. So someday maybe. Hey, we got Raquel stop by.
Raquel.
Good evening, Raquel.
Love you, number one.
Oh, that's a cool avatar. I haven't seen Raquel with that avatar before. Yep.
I can't see it. Oh, wow.
That avatar's too cerebral for me. But I'm pumped. Sorry.
Raquel is the keeper.
Yeah. Keep us in line, right? Yep.
Yes. I've had some samples of how good they are.
Yeah. So this is a big clobby right here. Yep. So some things you could do with this, you could print with a bigger nozzle, or change your settings and figure out what's But like Steve, Steve's the artist, or you go in there and you figure out how to like print it faster, or you just print it smaller. But sometimes what happens, let's see if we do the preview here. There's probably, I'm guessing what happens with this is it's not hollow on the inside, so that's probably why it's taking so long to print.
Sorry about the noise.
Yep, that's all right.
And I'm not sorry I made popcorn though, because I was making popcorn with you. You made
the your Batman popcorn popper?
Batman popcorn, yes. Yes, bat popcorn. Just I didn't even know you were going on. I was sitting there watching some top 10, and there you go. And that just actually sometimes goes hours, which I was checking my Twitter thingy, so I wouldn't have known if I just didn't have to turn it on there. But.
Yep. Well, maybe you're psychic right now.
It could be.
Yep. But yeah, sometimes you miss. You got people going on you miss, and then there's so many people you want to follow, and then I hate it when like 2 or 3 people are on that you're friends with and you want to watch, and sometimes in the chat like two or three places, and I've done it a couple times, like type the wrong answer on the wrong stream, the wrong
Dude, you know how many times when I'm wrenching for Paulie and I was open up other streams and I forgot and put what I'm putting in Paulie's chat, accidentally put it in someone else's.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Why I do that? It's happened a few times. Like if I keep when I'm wrenching for Paulie, I got to keep other windows closed. But
so yeah, so you make sure you get it, you get the right
70s and Pat S. brother.
Hey, that's okay, Pat S. You won't have detention. Yep. Welcome 70s. Yep. So there's going to be a quiz at the end. I was teasing Clobberin Times on how to draw on Mesh Mixer and do Cura. So, but yeah, this is just some real basic stuff. And let me show. And to measure, you could use pin gauges if for you technical people out there, so you can measure how the size of the hole that's in the figure, and then I'd get one of these pin vises so that you could actually drill. I'll show you how it would. I'll demonstrate in a minute, but you can drill, precision, or just instead of using a hand drill, it's a little bit safer, a little bit easier. If you're drilling into something something small, so a lot of hobbyists will have that. So those are just some basic things. So. So let me turn on the other camera, and I've actually got a new microphone that's stand that's longer. So hopefully this will work, sound better. So let's turn the camera on here and see if this let's see if it works. Come on, camera, pop up. It would help to plug the camera in. Yeah. Jed's laughing right now. There we go. Right, Jed, that engineer. So here we go. So let me zoom in just a little bit here.
Yes, 70s are the only non-wrench. It's okay. I'll make you a wrench on my channel if it makes you feel better. 70s.
Well, I got to make 70s a wrench. So I have all wrenches.
No, I don't know. Has he earned it though?
Well, he does. He does like Jethro Tull. So
because he passed the wrench test.
Right. All right. So let's see if this microphone stand.
What do you have? What with? What?
Well, I can extend it now, so I can actually,
right.
Hopefully, you can hear me better when I'm over here, because I've got two desks set up. So here's all these cool little Lego minifigs. There's the Human Torch, and of course you gotta have.
Looks like Carnage.
Yeah, gotta have you got the thing
little.
there. Yeah, everything's little. They're not in scale. So here's
no scale. Loki's
bigger Loki.
Than the
thing. Yeah. This figure never misses.
Hey, Steve, mention that happens, dude. Everybody's done that, man. Don't worry about it, bro. With the accidentally deleting people, everybody's done that, dude.
I got deleted for a week on your channel. Remember?
Yeah. Well, that happens to
By
everybody, dude.
accident. It was by accident, and you didn't know how to get me back either. I had to like email you. And stuff.
Yeah, we had to figure it out. But yeah, look, you're a wrench because we trust you there, Steve, brother.
Yeah. So this is a classic green arrow with the shooting arrow. So basically, here's one of the 3D printed stands. Not too fancy, and then you just put this. It's copying the Legos, so you just put them on the figure. Not high tech. Now, what happened with some of these figures? There's no like Magneto. I don't know both DC and Marvel figures. There's no holes on the bottom of these suckers. So
weird.
So
aren't Legos supposed to have those?
Well, these aren't Legos actually. Technically, they're Lego minifigs. So they're.
I got you.
They're like I have a Walking Dead set. I've got a bunch of different. Oh, here's a cool. Let me grab this off the wall.
Steve said something about he said the only reason I made him a wrench because I feel sorry for him. I do feel sorry for Steve. He's known me for 40 years. I feel sorry for anybody that's known me that long.
I think I've shown these before. I don't know if Raquel is still out there.
Oh, there you go, Raquel. Look at that.
So these, I don't know. Those guys have, yep, they have holes on their feet on these guys. You can't see inside the box, but that's one. I never took this one out. Most of the toys are free, but then I got a Walking Dead, Walking Dead set. So these are made by Minimates.
Right. So they're like those. They're just like a knockoff of
yeah, Lego
stuff, huh? Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, because Lego lost their patent, so and then that's a cool set. So there's a ton of these Star Trek Minimates, and I have probably
mirror ones.
Yeah, this is a mirror set.
They have comes with an Agony booth and Magonizer.
Let's see here. Maybe, yep. But there's a ton of series on these. So anyone that collects these these were a lot of fun. So I probably, like I said, I got to do the toys in the attic, but I got so many of those figures lying around. But basically, what you got to do is drill into the base and make holes in here. So if we grab Magneto here, and let's see, where's my drill? So you can either use the pin drill like this. What I like using, you have something called a center drill. So it's a really small, accurate drill that you use as a first drill. So of course it's not focusing where I want it to focus, but it's what's nice about it doesn't walk. So as I go here, I'm just going to try to line these up. Hopefully you can see that on the camera. But the idea with the center drill is when you start to drill, it's locates your hole. So it does just the nice little teeny,
so to speak.
Yeah, it's like a small hole there. I'm sure it's tough to see in the camera, but that way you're there we go. I just knocked Magneto's other foot off. That's what you're doing. You're trying to drill.
Yeah. Dude, you're in trouble.
I killed him. Yep.
No, Raquel, in trouble with Raquel. The
drill needs cleaning.
The principal's office. Let's go.
Yeah. This is that's bad. I should have this. This drill should be much cleaner.
When you get in trouble with Raquel, it's kind of funny.
Yeah. Oh no. Usually I keep my tool. Yeah, this guy got rusted. I don't know how that happened. So here, let's get Magneto's other foot here.
That's number 6.
You could use the pen drill too. There we go. So yeah, I gotta clean that drill. Yep. So then you could use the pen drill here. And you now that you started the hole. I mean, I know this is riveting YouTube stuff, but
I mean, if you're especially if you're riveting something.
Yeah. So it just spins. You put it against your hand, you just spin, but you've got more control there. So you're basically just making a hole in Magneto's foot. Hopefully Magneto won't mind. He's not gonna squash you or throw you away. And of course, you want to make sure you don't go too deep. You know, you could knock that pin out, and then you're really screwed. You gotta glue it. So you don't really need much.
Galactus is marked. Ye I hunger.
Well, actually, there is a new Galactus that is out.
Oh my god, that thing is ridiculous. What is it? $400? It's not coming out forever. Well, and it's a HasLab, so it's a crowd funding thing.
Yep.
And it's huge, it's nice and everything, but dude.
So you're saying I shouldn't buy it?
Did you? I don't. I think. Yeah, nah. If you can afford it, go for it, man. I just, it's just not so much the money. I just hate the idea of Hasbro crowdfunding crap. I'm against the HasLab thing.
Yeah, Retro Brass thing was talking about that too. I on the one hand, as a manufacturer myself, I can kind of course, I'm not a multi-billion-dollar manufacturer. We had
exactly good.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, yeah, like we have like a specialty tool we're gonna make, and it's maybe costs them, guessing like $2,000 to $3,000 to make a tool, and it's you make 10 of them and you hope you sell them, but I can't go out to the crowdfunding and say, hey, does anyone want this tool? If you want it, send me some money ahead of time. So on the one hand, I can see where it kind of sucks for Hasbro, but on the other hand, there's no risk for them too.
They should take a damn risk like everybody else. People would buy that. I mean, not, and you know what? It wouldn't be $400 either. If they were making this thing without the crowdfunding thing and just putting it out there like a company, even in a limited run, they would not make it that expensive because they know they couldn't sell it.
Yeah,
and then it'd be about $200, and that's kind of high.
And they could make a lot more of them. So
they can make a lot more of them. Is the Silver Surfer Galactus intolerant? What do you mean the Silver Surfer Galactus?
Steve is on a roll tonight. That's an awesome one. Yep. I guess that 70s fan has been moving too. Moving sucks, as everyone knows. So, so that's good to hear. Be able to stream again. Yep. And Raquel says, so much enabling in our group. Yeah, that's what you want to do, right? What else are friends for, right?
I love that song by Steve Martin. I'll be your dentist. Oh my God, that's the best thing in that film for me. Steve Martin bit in that movie.
Little Shop of Horrors, yeah.
Yeah. Oh God. Funny movie, but I mean, he steals it. I think. I love that guy.
Yeah, Steve Martin's.
For a while, he was one of the funniest creatures on the planet. All through in the 70s and 80s. I mean, and he was just.
Oh God. Yeah, and he's a brilliant banjo player too.
He's so good, you could forgive him for doing those Pink Panther movies. That's how great Steve Martin is.
Right?
Yeah.
So
that's pretty good. So good.
Well, this is pretty good too. Here, see now Galactus can float away in his disc, right? So you drill his feet out, and you can do that with all these figures like Black Widow. I don't know why she doesn't have holes in her feet, so you can drill out. So that was my tip for these figures. At first, I was trying to make something to, make them stand up or make a pin or something that would fit. And little buggers, I'm like, just drill their feet out. So,
man, needy. Oh my God, I hated that stupid crap with Wolverine scratched Ben's face.
Yep. Does his helmet come off? Let's see.
Scarred his face. That was so, and then all the time with Ben with that dumb helmet. I wasn't buying the book. I adopted it. It was really aggravated me.
Yep. So we got that one. This one I love, the Mr. Fantastic. That's one of the better ones.
Nice. Yeah, that is a good one.
The arms like that. Yep. And Canadian Spider-Man is not here, but this is a good one with the web, with the webbing. Yep. And of course you got Venom, who's all the rage now. Someone's got to explain why Venom in the movie looks like Spider-Man, right? In the new
you saw that new trailer.
Yeah, so there's no Spider-Man in that universe, right?
There's Sue. Yeah, I see. I can't look. I'm not the biggest Venom guy anyway. He was out there when I was kind of dumped Spidey, but he's one of the most famous. He's one of the most famous villains in Marvel, and he's a great Spidey villain. And you're gonna make a damn Venom. They've already made one. a movie. It's like making a Doctor Doom film without the Fantastic Four. It's silly.
Doesn't make sense. Yep. So this Pat S is asking how much would you charge for one of them? I'd probably sell like a 10-pack for $10 or something like that. They're not, they're pretty cheap to print. For you, Pat, I'd send you, if you just give me your address, I'll send you a bunch if you need them. But I could put them on eBay and just sell them. But yeah, for Pat, this is actually
I love
really
that.
good.
That's great. I love Ada Ray Bill.
That's really well done. So that's a good.
That
one.
really is good.
And then I've got, these aren't mini maids, but I found these. I think these are from Japan. I found these on eBay.
Wow, Jesus Christ.
That's a funny little Mr.
What in the hell?
Yeah. And of course, Sue is hard to see.
Mm-hmm. Reed could actually do that with his body. So that's
And the thing is really good. Let's see if I get.
Wow, nice.
But there's no Johnny. I don't know what happened with Johnny. It was
There's no Johnny. Oh, maybe there's Herbie. Maybe he's based on that stupid late '70s cartoon with no Johnny.
Yeah.
Remember, Johnny wasn't around when they passed out the contracts. Remember, that was his excuse for not being on that cartoon.
Right.
Professor X. That flathead does look so like Patrick Stewart now.
Yeah. So here's this Thor is pretty good too. Yeah, the classic Thor. And some of them came with bases, so this one came with a base, which was nice. Might as well show them. And this one actually, Enchantress came with a base, clear base, which was pretty nice. And she's got some spells. Of course, we should have gotten Enchantress in the Loki. Are
those bigger than the other one? I guess it just seemed like
it's just hold it up. Of course, we've got Lady Sif.
You have the Jay Garrick there?
Yep. Let me hold him.
Lady Sif, there's Sif. That's fine. I thought I saw Jay.
Yep. Yeah, this is a really cool one. Yep.
Oh my God, that is a really good one. God, I love Jay.
Yeah. So the comic book shop, they'd have the 4-packs all the time, and you go in, you're like, all right, I'll buy another one. They'd have sets of these that kept coming out in waves. So you had Patch.
That's one of my favorite. I'm sorry. That's what you're saying. Okay, Patch. Yeah. Steve, that's one of my favorite Steve Martin lines. Well, excuse me.
Yeah.
I love it. Sorry, buddy. I don't think it's good.
No, that's awesome. And then Rhino
lost some weight.
Yeah, that's what happens with these. Yeah, they're all the same. Well, Patch, I was gonna say, Patch was funny. Like that was his disguise. Like no one will recognize Wolverine with the hair. We'll put an eye patch on. I got a couple. Might as well show them all. And then, of course, they had all the different Iron Man sets. So, D. Bud Martin would. I wonder if he's got any of these.
Yeah,
that book he's got is amazing. Yep.
He showed parts of the book to you guys. He sent me the PDF on it. That's pretty cool. I didn't get a chance to read it all yet. Yeah, he did a lot. I mean, dude, it's very well researched. From what I haven't been able to see it all yet, but he loves him some Iron Man, doesn't he?
That was amazing. Yeah. And he had everything, all the work to, document everything and all the different armors, and really well done.
Yeah, very nice.
So Iron Man, I think, and this one's the most dangerous figure I have because I lost the helmet. I don't know where the helmet is. Cover up Cyclops' eyes, so.
He's blasting beams all over the place. I wouldn't have really, since that's the X-Factor costume, I almost wasn't sure that was Cyclops for a minute.
And then, of course, I got these are on my shelves here, but these little mini Robin. What was this? These were DC 2017. It was a set that came out. I always liked that Lex Luthor.
Wow. Yeah. I always loved the power. I like the power suit. I love it, and that's the one they use for superpowers. But of course, I kind of just like the purple suit. But power suit was pretty cool, even though they just did it to sell toys.
And here's a Gimli.
Hey.
And that actually came with the base. Yep. Yeah. So those guys are. If you want to collect stuff, those are fun because they don't take up take up much room, and I've got them all over my monitor. So yep. So let's see what's he was a loan supervisor at a sprinkler maintenance job. He started working on a Final Day sprinkler head with a Langstrom 7 gangly wrench. I do not understand that. Is that a Steve Martin reference?
Probably is, but I missed it. I guess I can't remember it, but
yeah, need to print a helmet. Yep. So let's see what's Steve saying here. Maddie's smarter than Steve. Well, your kids are always smarter than you are. If your kids aren't smarter than you are, you're not doing a good job.
Unless
right?
you're Reed Richards, and then Valeria is not smarter than him. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, who's smarter now? Moon Girl or
Moon Girl,
Valeria?
and then Valeria, I guess. According to Dan Slott, but Dan Slott is an idiot. So you know what? Dan Slott is not smarter than anyone.
Yeah.
Said maybe Dan Kimball Smith.
Dan Slott blocked me, so I guess he did. He saved me some Twitter anguish, right? I was like, I got blocked.
I think he blocked me too.
I think it was from those blockchains, right? You know, they just following certain people.
Yeah, he uses block bots, no question about it. A lot of those weenies do at Marvel and DC, because I never say anything. I've never said anything to him. I don't follow the idiot. I used to actually correspond with him many years ago when he was. That was a long time ago in the early days of the internet when he was kind of okay, but yeah, he's just a block bot user, like Al Ewing, a lot of those other idiots.
Now I could see if someone's really abusive or uses some slurs or super nasty to block someone, but I was actually waiting to see him at New York Comic Con, and I was like, oh, I should go see Dan, get something signed, the new FF book that was just out, and
why?
Well, I didn't realize how bad it was, I guess, but I didn't go. I didn't have it signed anyway. Yeah. I didn't get it signed. I was too tired, and I was. Now I'm always thankful I didn't walk back or walk. And then he blocked me on Twitter. It's like, bleep you. It's like, well, it was over the time. Didn't he? What was his quote when he said, if you don't like comics, F off my comics, F off, or it was some really. And he had to pull the tweet down, or I'm trying to remember what it was.
You mean he said something like Kelly Sue DeConnick did about it? If you don't like my politics, don't buy my books.
Yeah, it was something
solved.
Like that. Yeah, it was something like that, but it was a really nasty tweet. And eventually, I had to take it down.
Well, you gotta hand it to her. Sure, we won't buy them. There you go. Good idea. Oh.
Yeah.
Boy, was she right. No one's buying them. But yes, Sloth said something like that.
Yeah, so then I think what I did, I liked one of the comments that trashed him for saying that, because it's like if you have a business, right? It's like the customer's always right, even if there's a Stu Leonard's. If you guys heard of Stu Leonard's in Norwalk, Connecticut, here I'll Google it here. Stu Leonard's.
But that's for normal people businesses. These idiots at Marvel and DC and all these big corporations that own them, like AT&T owns DC right now or whatever, and Disney owns Marvel. They get away with everything because no one's buying their crap. Comic books are irrelevant now, and they don't care that their employees insult their customers, because if they did, comics wouldn't be in the state it's in, and the top 25 comics on the charts every month wouldn't be manga.
Right?
So, yeah.
So here's Stu Leonard's in Norwalk. So rule 1, the customer's always right. Rule 2, if the customer's ever wrong, reread rule number 1. So that's in the store when you come into the store.
I resemble that remark, Steve Mitchum. I cannot be blocked. I am a great pass rusher, and nobody could block me. I was a pass rusher once, in Little League.
But comic book companies definitely don't follow this. I mean, not saying that you have to do fan service and do exactly but it's just people are voting with what they purchase, right? So if manga's selling like crazy, that you tell hey, maybe we're doing something wrong. Maybe we want to change what we're doing.
Nobody wants to buy that modern crap.
Yeah,
it's horrible. Well, I mean, I know you do, but I'm not insulting you.
I know. No, I know.
Look, the completest thing. Look, I stopped it back in the 80s and 90s, but you're not the only friend I have that will keep buying the new stuff and that's fine.
Yeah.
But I just don't. I mean, I just can't. But I get why you do it. I'm a completist sometimes too.
Yeah,
I was.
LT is still
LT.
buying stuff, but I think he stopped buying some of the stuff.
Yeah, he's cut a bunch of stuff down from what he told us.
Yeah,
Matthew Pounder.
But like I've been buying Star Trek Year 5.
You know, I was buying that up until about a year ago. They always have nice covers. They had one issue that pissed me off, but it's a good comic, and I just kind of stopped getting it because I stopped going to the comic store. I mean, that's a book I would be getting if I were still going to the comic shop.
Yeah,
they have some pretty good covers.
Yeah, this cover is good with the bones here. Yeah, the covers are great. They do a nice job with the covers, I have to say.
Did you say the new issue? Something you showed a cover. They got the Tholians now.
Yeah, I'll show that one. Yep, I haven't read that one yet, but let's see. Here's Spock.
It's a good comic. If you want to read a good Trek comic, it's out there. I mean, it's good. And they only had one kind of screwed up thing on one cover that was so stupid that I didn't buy one issue when I was still buying it. I mean, there you go. This is getting to the end of the 5-year mission.
So this is the.
I like that cover.
Yeah, I really like that too. Was that the Enterprise on the cover? Or is that? Let's see. Oh yeah, it is the Enterprise. Yep, it is the Enterprise. Yep.
So that's right toward the end of the 5-year mission.
Yep.
And it's a beautiful cover. Now, I guess that's like it gets beat up pretty bad, and then that's where it goes in for the refit. I'd like. Let me see what are the sales on it? The nacelles. Are they still the same nacelles that they always had?
Let's check here. Yeah, that's the original.
Reason I ask is because I do like Star Trek Continues and everything, although there were things I didn't like about it. Vic's thing, but they in their one of their last seasons, I think it was them. They put the motion picture nacelles on the regular design ship, the same design except they changed the nacelles.
That doesn't work.
It doesn't work, and I'm like, why would you do that? That was not good.
Yeah, that doesn't work. Yeah, but that cover caught my eye.
So,
back when you used to go to comic book stores, then they would catch your eye, like, oh, I gotta buy that. Yeah.
They also had Carol Marcus on there, and they made it as if they were just meeting for the first time, and this is this was taking place in year 4 of the mission or something. I said that does not work.
Yeah, it doesn't.
How old David Marcus is in Wrath of Khan.
Yeah, he's just a young kid, right? I mean, was he 21 years old, 25 years old or something?
Yeah, but exactly. But that means they had to meet. And look, in Wrath of Khan,
before Starfleet, yeah,
they had to meet because in Wrath of Khan it had only been 15 years since he'd seen Khan, and that takes place somewhere around the 2nd year of the mission, right? So he should have met Carol before he was on the Enterprise.
Yep. And
David should have been born before that.
Yeah. Well, I could see where you have a kid that you don't know about that happens.
Yeah.
Of course, now with genetic testing, people are finding half brothers and sisters throughout the world that they never knew about yet.
But his age, though.
No, you're right. Yeah,
doesn't work.
Yeah.
So I don't know what Vic was thinking with that.
Yeah. Well, I guess he wanted to do something different or put your mark on it or make it cool. Yep.
Well, he also, that episode where it was the last ones they did where he's in in this motion picture uniform at the beginning, sitting at a desk, and they've got the pizza cutter, USS Pizza Cutter, sitting behind him as a model sitting behind him. So that made me sick too.
Oh yeah. Well, here, wait, hold on. I'll grab my pizza cutter. I got to show you this. Hold on. I'll be right back.
You better not have a model of the pizza cutter. He had to go get something, folks. I'll vamp for him and say that if Mark ever has a model of the USS Pizza Cutter, he's going to have to deal with the ramifications of Raquel. That's all there is to it. Raquel, number 1.
Are you guys going to not talk to me? I do have a USS Pizza Cutter. Watch this.
Oh, my God.
Here we go. I do have a pizza cutter. Let's make it full screen.
I hope it's a real pizza cutter.
Let's make this full screen.
Oh, she'll leave.
She'll leave, yeah.
Oh, crap. We've done it now.
No, all right, I can't sing the Star Trek theme, but here we go. Here is a Star Trek pizza cutter.
Yeah, but that's
yeah,
at least it's not that pizza cutter. It's not the STD.
No, oh God, Raquel's gonna tell me I've got to clean my pizza cutter.
Raquel, this is pretty cool. I want this pizza cutter. I knew you'd have that pizza cutter. That's a Constitution class pizza cutter.
So this is from Think Geek. That's Raquel says safe.
Hey there, Matthew Pounder. Oh, I love that, dude. That's a Constitution class pizza cutter. It's fantastic.
So Mrs. D got me that, and of course I had to 3D print.
I knew you. If anybody would have that, it'd be you, dude. Go ahead. What's that? A
so
stand?
It's a 3D printed stand. Yep. So it's.
I've seen those advertised.
So I have that in my kitchen, of course. Unfortunately, I think Geek is out of business now, but yeah, people are like, what the hell is that?
See, Mitch's asking, does it work? It looks like it just keeps up.
Yeah, it does work. Yeah. So you well, here,
I want that.
All these figures over. But yeah, you just go like this, and you cut your pizza. It's time to order Domino's.
Love it.
Cut your finger, but yeah, it works. Yeah, it actually works. Yeah. So. Yeah, I gotta polish that, but yeah. Of course, of course, I would have something like that, right? Yeah. Raquel needs. That's like, now I'm getting hungry again. Yeah.
Raquel, you should come in here and tell them off for scaring you like that.
Yeah, come on in, Raquel. I think I could send you the link. Yeah.
You got the link, don't you?
Yeah, I think I got the link. Yeah, if you want to pop in, yeah.
Unless you
might not feel like it.
If you don't feel like it, that's cool. But if you do, we'd love to talk to you.
Yep.
She's probably busy. She has some Babylon 5 to watch.
Miss Think never got that board cube mini fridge. Yeah, let me Google that. Yep. Think Geek. I think they're still in business, but it's
board cube mini fridge. Wow.
Let's see images if I can find.
She will jump in with us. You were tempting the wrath of Raquel on that one.
Oh, she's gonna fire Big Bertha. That's good. Yeah, they are still in business, but they don't have a separate website. I think they got bought out by someone else. Well, that's cool. If they still sell it, that's great. Here, let's share the screen here.
You mean for the pizza cutter? For
the pizza cutter, bucks, yeah.
Huh? Wow. I don't know if I want to cut pizza with it that bad.
Yeah. Well, it was one of those fun Christmas gifts that I got. Yeah.
I love it.
There's the enterprise door thing that I have. Yeah.
Blue.
Let's see.
Oh.
Well, I think that's just the inner part, and then it's red. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Yep. Yeah, so this is fun. Yeah, the Spock. Star Trek. Yeah, they had Star Trek swimwear. Well, this is nice. Enterprise sushi. Sushi set. That's awesome. Yeah, so these things weren't that expensive when they first came out, obviously. I do not have that. Nope.
Wow.
Oh, this is for Jed. Where's Jed? Howard the Duck Picard.
He's over on with comics division.
Comics, I guess, right? Yep.
What in the hell is that, boy? Oh, what's that chair?
Go.
What's that chair? I want you to get the ice cubes.
I do have some like Star Wars ice cubes. Oh, we got Raquel.
Oh yeah.
Hey Raquel, welcome.
Hey.
How are
What's
you?
up, number one? Look at that chair.
What's with the lame duck? When you put P Hard together with Howard the Duck, you wind up with a lame duck.
Yeah.
And what's with the fake out with the pizza cutter?
I got you, right?
You totally got me.
Yeah. Well, I knew. By the way, I knew there was a pizza cutter like that. I just didn't. I mean, when I said obviously that's what we call a certain ship of a filth nature, but
yes.
of a filth. But yeah, I didn't expect them to have the pizza. Well, why didn't I? I mean, yeah, I should have.
Hey, Matthew Pounder subbed. Don't forget to hit your notification bell, and then you'll know whenever he's on. Matthew Pounder, that's
Matthew.
so great. Thank you so much. Wait until you see all the things he can make. I can't wait until his business just explodes with interests and orders, because Matthew, you would not believe the kinds of things that he can make. And yeah, it's all very, very exciting stuff, especially for geeks and nerds.
Thank you.
Oh my God, look at another chair. Holy crap. That's cool, of course, but look at the chair.
Oh, it's a 1/6. Oh, that must be for one of those hot toy, 1/6.
Oh, yeah. I got a few of those for my pike figure and a Kirkwood.
I sat in the original chair in Vulcan when it was there, or one of the versions of the chair. I think there's a couple of versions of that chair that were used, and I sat in one at the Vulcan Museum.
Oh yeah, that's right. Have we seen a picture of that? Have you showed me?
I think you've seen a picture of that, but I would never show that in public. Just you, Clobby.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I think I showed you the one of me in the chair at Farragut Fest. I want to go back there.
Yeah.
Well, now it's Star Trek Continues Farragut. I mean, they still have it.
The only thing I don't like about those inflatable chairs is they're actually impossible to sit in.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you have to let the air out of them slightly. Have you ever slept on an air mattress and your kid or one of your friends jumps on the end of it or steps on the end of it and you go sailing? That's what those chairs are like. You have to take a little bit of air out of them. Otherwise, not so fun.
Yeah, it's. I have a Darth Maul chair that I got years ago, and I fire it up for fun. And yeah, you're right. It's not really too practical. It's just for the looks of it. Yeah.
I do love that he is bringing it into literally every room and almost every situation in life where you require a chair and demonstrating its worth, its value.
Yeah, this
is purely a commercial just for the spouses, because of course if you wanted this chair you would already see all of these values in it. It would only be your spouse who would require all this convincing.
Yeah. That's hysterical. Yeah, Think Geek was just so much fun. That company it was so good. It was so much
Geek
fun.
Was a great time.
Yeah, it was sad when they went out. Yep. Yeah, they were great. Yeah. By small adult, I mean no more than 120 pounds. Yep.
Yes. I love the video. The video is hysterical.
These guys are great. Yeah.
Yeah, but see, I'm not sleeping on the chair like that.
Yeah.
No.
I wonder how many other Think Geek. What else do they have here? Stormtroopers. Yeah. Oh, they had one person. Remember, they had unicorn meat as a joke, and it was Spam in a can, and they just relabeled it unicorn meat. And someone got stopped by TSA, and they wouldn't let him on the plane. And they were like, "It's a joke," And they're like, "You can't bring unicorn meat into the country."
You can still get the dilithium crystal breast mints, though, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
The Star Trek dilithium crystal breast mints.
Yeah.
I believe they still sell them. And they still sell them in the old sucrettes and clarettes tin.
Oh, in the tins, yep. Are they plastic now or are they still metal?
I'm not sure. It's been a while since I've ordered them. I was actually going to order some as gifts for our listeners on Saturday Night Star Trek, and cool. And I sent socks this round instead. But it will be interesting. What I might do is just order one order for myself, just to check it out. Yeah, and see if it's still as good as it was before. Those little pink candies with the dust on them inside the tin.
Yeah.
Your own little pocket dilithium crystals.
I doubt they're metal anymore. You never know, though.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, so
I think the last time they were metal, I was in a head shop in Edmonton, Alberta, a head shop called Mars and Venus. And I believe Mars and Venus had the last, or what might be the last tins, because I'm pretty sure they were tins at that time, but goodness sakes, that's got to be at least 10 years ago since I've seen the dilithium crystals at Mars and Venus.
Well, you can't find them, and you can't find jelly babies.
Yeah, you got to order them online now.
There we go.
Oh, there they are. Yeah. Fresh
I love that.
core.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And that's what you really want, you know, is fresh. Oh, see, they do look a little bit different. See, now they look like pink pills.
Yeah, those don't look as good.
They don't look as good. Remember when they used to look like
Crystals.
what's it called? Soap candy or water candy?
Rock candy. We had
rock
called
candy. That's what it's called.
Rock candy here. Yep.
Yeah.
I've never seen these.
Yeah. Okay. So these are the guys. These are the original gangster candies. Only they looked like the rock candy, and they were dusted with the white powder, the same as the old Popeye cigarettes that kids used to smoke. And they were gum. But now I guess they look like pink pills.
Oh, so Steve is saying he could send me some files. OBJ usually is better, or actually STL, but I think OBJ is a better format anyway, Steve. But if I can get stuck, this is all geek stuff. Yep. But
Steve says Maddie has a unicorn named Brenda. I mean, how random is Brenda? Maddie was just in Walmart one day and met a cashier who went coochie coochie coo to her, and she said, "You know what? My unicorn's name is Brenda."
What? Coochie woochie coochie coo, Captain.
Exactly.
Brenda Star Unicorn.
And she has a teddy bear named Bernarda, evidently. No, just kidding. Gertrude. She has a teddy bear named Gertie.
Well, this is the one thing I should have bought, was this communicator when it came out. I never did.
Yeah, but it was so expensive right off the hop.
$250, yeah.
Yeah, it was really expensive, especially for Canadians. I would have loved to have purchased it, but I don't have the scratch for that.
Those are, and the other thing that's ridiculously expensive now too, this new Playmates Enterprise.
I posted it as soon as they released it. I posted it on my Twitter, and I could not believe the price, especially for in Canadian money, and having it shipped here, and then also paying the import fees. It's just it would be insane.
Yeah, well, let's see. We're
looking at. They showed filth. Filth.
Filth again. You stop burning my captain's eyes.
Where's Playmate? But Playmate should show. What did this?
Is it a new one?
Or was it Playmates, or was it? It was Playmates, wasn't it?
No, it was Playmates. I'm pretty sure.
I thought it was Playmates. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like $500.
Yeah, it was like $500, starting $500 American, and then you had to pay the import fees.
Oh, it's Play School, mate. Was it Play School?
Oh, maybe Play School.
Oh, could be.
I think they spelled Play School wrong, right? Play School? No.
Unless they do a Kitty Enterprise.
I don't know.
Why is it not showing up?
Let's see. Odd. Just type in new Enterprise.
Yep. Let me model.
Yeah, and then model.
Playmobil.
Playmobil. There it is. Click on that sucker.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Is that sort of based on that? No, I'm not going to say it. No, okay, no, maybe you didn't. Because they did one based on that filth, the STD filth, when the Enterprise from that.
Yeah.
Oh, God,
if you remember.
That'd be nice. So if I buy this, what are the odds of being able to hide this in my house? It's
I say slim and none.
Are you going to put it together? Hey, did you put together that model that I sent you for your birthday?
I've got to do that. I'll do that on the stream with you, maybe. That'd be fun to do. Yep.
Well, you're going to be pretty frustrated. I hear that those ones are very difficult.
Okay.
Well, so those are skill level expert. So you have a lot of machinists who really like that particular brand, that Metal Earth.
I
Mark can
appreciate
do it.
that gift. Thank you. Yep.
He can do it.
Hard to get here, and I'm interested to watch you put it together.
Yeah, I'll try to put it. It could end up being a 5-hour stream. Yeah.
Well, you don't need anything for it.
Yeah, it's all. Yeah, it looks like you're supposed to. I read
Just
the instructions.
your brain. Just
Yeah.
your brain.
It's like a puzzle. Yep.
Yeah.
Wow, it's tight on that
Steady
bridge.
finger.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. Definitely a room where Spurpees could flourish.
Indeed. Oh my God, the crew must be like they've gone through some kind of cloud and they're making them grow instead of shrinking them this time.
The scale is off.
Turning
it's
them
got
into
a USB?
giants.
It's got a USB port. Is that
Wow.
the power?
Yeah. I think you might be able to charge the LED.
Oh, look, and they have it made so you can hang it instantly already.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
But I don't buy broken deltas, even if they're beer openers or hangers or the broken delta. It signifies, oh look, Raquel's not going to buy that.
well, I could make a closed delta. when
You
it
should
closes.
make a closed delta.
Oh, wow. Lights and sounds too. Yep.
But yeah, so as you can see the box, look at the box. And what does that remind you of? This is why I brought this up the other when we were on the Global Geek Gang and we were talking about it. Who does it look? Whose brand does this look like?
Uh,
No,
well-
zero in on the box. Yeah. And that's not Playmobil.
I'm not sure which brand, but it catches my eye though. I gotta say.
Well, hold on, and I'll just go grab the box. Just wait 1 second. And
Okay.
I can't show it though. Well, hold on a minute.
You think it looks more like an Aurora kit or a monogram or
Old time Aurora.
Or the
kit,
old
maybe,
ones?
Yeah. That could be. Yeah.
Aurora, and then what was the other one? AMT did the Star Trek kits.
Yep. There's AMT models, and actually, I got that model for my birthday. I haven't put together yet too. The
Oh yeah.
the light up one. Yep. That's another
Can you
one I
do me a
gotta do.
favor? Can
Sure.
you please go out on the open internet and look up Diamond Selects and look up Star Trek Communicator? Yeah.
It does look sort of like a Diamond Select type thing.
Now go to the box. That's the old box. Go to the new box. That's the
This
old
one?
box. That's the old box. You got to go to the new box. Scroll down a little bit there. There it
Let's
is.
see.
See the unboxers? The unboxers from February 14th, 2012. So that's the new established brand that they have. And that's the way
Okay.
that it looks. You know,
So they're
could you
copying
please
that.
could you please bring it on up on Amazon? Because I
Sure,
think
yeah.
I think Diamond Selects has something to do with this. And the reason why I'm saying that is, as a communications person, is a tremendous amount of money went into branding Diamond Selects, their logo, the colors, the shape and presentation of it. So I find it hard to believe that this is not Diamond Selects because of the fact that this is their branding 100%. If you looked at their branding book, it is their branding 100%. So it's Playmobil, but I believe that I strongly suspect that Diamond Selects is involved. I wonder why.
Diamond
let's
is
go
just
see
a
the
distributor,
box.
so Diamond is just a distributor. So
Go
yeah,
down one more, Mark, on the picture.
Yep.
One just
There
there
you
it
go.
is.
Yeah. Yep.
Dun,
Yep. You're
dun,
right.
dun,
Yep. Yep. Nope. That's So if you go back to the original,
yeah. See,
Yeah.
Diamond's just a distributor. They make deals with these companies. So
the
yeah.
orange
Do
here.
they?
Yep. With
Okay,
the orange.
okay.
Yep.
Yeah. They're a comic book distributor first and foremost, but then they started getting the toys and
Yeah.
memorabilia and things like that.
Yeah.
So, and they get exclusives, like a Diamond Select exclusive with these companies, be it Hasbro, be it Playmobil or Playmates or whomever.
Okay.
So, yeah, which Diamond doesn't make anything. So, but it does look like Diamond Select packaging.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
And that's
good
what,
eye there,
like when I saw it, I was like, that's not Playmobil. That's Diamond Select.
Yeah, and then Diamond, of course, they've lost DC now, so they're really in trouble. But yeah, that's Phil Seuling's outfit.
Yeah. Well, even that communicator to get it into Canada, it's around $100. I talked about it with Mark. I think I paid $96
Yeah.
all in just to get the communicator
Wow.
here. So Diamond Select is not cheap.
No.
And then you got the one that didn't have the metal.
Yeah, well, they don't make
grill,
them with metal anymore. So
Yeah.
so my choices are that I can get an old one that's busted up off of eBay, and I can switch the door out.
Yeah, because it's the same design with the different.
Yeah, or I can just cry, and
Sorry.
so far I've been doing the latter.
Yeah. I was so damn lucky to get that. I didn't even think.
No,
I
you
bought
weren't
it
lucky.
when it came out.
You weren't lucky. That's a bunch of crap. You weren't lucky. You were smart. You
Right.
just pulled the trigger when you
I
needed
pulled
to
the
pull the
trigger.
trigger. And sometimes that's the way it is with these toys. And so I don't really consider this stuff toys. I consider it like collector's memorabilia because all of these things are like replicas things. Anyways,
Yeah.
but yeah, I totally respect that. Don't ever say that that you got lucky. You were just smart. You saw something beautiful and you said that's really special and I want to get that, and you did it.
Yep.
Smart.
And I'm gonna buy this one. I'm gonna buy this when it comes out.
Yeah, see, now this is just pornographic. You're just now you're just bragging in front of me. Just bragging. Okay, so I have the replica. I have the replica of this one from Diamond Select.
Yep.
Yeah, also I think around 100 or 100, it might be $150 to get it to Canada. I forget how much I paid. But after you pay the import fees and the shipping and you change it all into American money, it's quite expensive. So I've been thinking about this one. It's been on my mind for a while now, and you're showing it to me again.
Sorry, I'm enabling.
You're an enabler. It's terrible what you're doing to me here.
So
how far has he gotten in the campaign? I haven't checked in on him in a while. How many people are on board now?
Well, this one's not a Kickstarter. This is just actually they're going to sell it and first come first serve. I think so. I'm on the waiting list for it. So if you register,
is that the way it works? When I went on there, I thought it was a Kickstarter. Didn't he have a minimum to buy though before you would do it? No.
So you just register. Go on onto this website and register, and they'll tell you when it's available. Ugh. So they're showing, and they've got the TV screen working now, which is unbelievable.
Oh,
and they're gonna have look at the little disc, and they're gonna have it's gonna actuate. It's like a memory disc, so it's gonna activate different sounds when you put the disc in.
Will the array work though?
Yep, everything's gonna work.
Oh wow. That's why I went with Diamond Select on the communicator, is because it actually has the array instead of the holographic sticker. So, when you're looking at replica, you definitely want to make sure that everything's in working order. So that array is going to work. What are you doing to me? You're going to make me so broke.
Yeah. But this is something. This is actually the injection molding. So this is why these things cost so much money. It's it's not 3D. They 3D printed some of the stuff just to see how it fits. But this is what the real money is in making them all. And look at that. Don't look, Raquel.
Oh my! Oh my!
With the screen that works.
That's so beautiful.
Yep.
Is that going to be the only screen that it can populate?
I doubt. I know they're probably going to have. They're going to function electronics and sensors, and they're going to have all different types of things. Different sensors that would react. I think. Yep.
Yeah.
So it's going to be incredible, and I think it's going to be about $300 right now.
Yeah, badass. A head shop is in Canada. That's what we call like the old headbanger shops. So if you go into a head shop in Canada, it's usually like beautiful wiggle dresses for women and like lumber jackets and leather jackets for guys and Star Trek memorabilia and like really like old school replica things for comic books. It's really where geeks and nerds and headbangers all meet. And so instead of calling it a headbanger shop or a metalhead shop or whatever, we just call them head shops here.
By the way, I misspoke. Diamond Select does in fact manufacture toys and stuff like that, but they do it selectively through their exclusive. Affiliated with Diamond distributors, who of course until recently they were the only comic book distributor
Yeah, I that's what I thought, but that's only because a couple of times I tried to go to the Diamond Select Original Gangster site because I wanted to know if they were going to be making things or not, like when the next batch of making things was going
Right.
to come out. But at the same time, I always defer to you because not only are you a brainiac, but you're always dotting your I's and crossing your T's. So I'm always willing to go with whatever you say because you're so much smarter at this than I am, and I'm just learning about this stuff. Certainly, I'm no expert when it comes to the memorabilia and the replicas. I just really love the ones that are the most accurate. If you're going to get on there and you see the Playmates ones on Amazon and you see that the array is like a little hologram sticker and it's really cheaply made, you don't want to buy it. And then all of a sudden you see this other company and they're actually making things really nicely and they have an eye for detail. Then all of a sudden that company catches your eye and you just start buying all your replica stuff from them. So I've been like a Diamond Select junkie here for the last little while. So, but
I was confusing them with they are owned by Diamond distributors. It's just that
is that the same company that does the comics?
Yeah, previews. Remember when you used to get previews every month?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, where you order your comics out of. It's just that they bought up Art Asylum and some other ones and stuff. So yeah, they've actually make their own stuff.
Yeah.
But I was just confusing them with the distributor because I'm an idiot and I forgot.
No, you're not. I love it. I love it when you teach me things because even if you hesitate and you're not sure and you say that there's another connection, we're all still learning. Who cares if you misspoke for 2 seconds? It's the fact that you opened up a whole can of worms about Diamond Select that I never even knew before. That's why I love you. You're a giant brain. You're the grand poobah of geeks. Never ever hesitate to pull the trigger on your ideas and your memories and your recollections because they're so important, Clobby.
I don't trust my own memory, so I got it back.
You got a great memory. Yep.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
He's a database, Mark.
Yeah. That's incredible that you remember. Yep.
Yeah, he's just marvelous. And whenever I talk to Clobby, I learn something. And that makes me feel so good.
Yep. So look at this. They're gonna have this. I'm assuming they're gonna have the screen for me to Keeler on the tricorder.
No way! Mind blown! Could you imagine bringing that up at the con?
Yeah. You got to get this. Yeah.
We have to get back to the Guardian of Forever.
We might have to come. I'll have to buy one. You have to come visit and pick it up.
Oh my god! Ow!
Oh my god! How much is it in Canadian again? Can we please do?
They're saying I think they're estimated now. Originally it was $250, but they're thinking it's going to be around $300.
Let's go to the bill. Let's go to the bill and show the folks at home the bill.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god.
So what's that in Canadian dollars? Yeah.
I don't know. Let's do it for the folks at home. For anyone who's watching.
300 USD.
Oh, plus there'll be shipping and handling, so at least $50. You'll have to send $50 American.
375 Canadian. Yep.
Yeah, plus $50 American for the shipping, and you probably pay $20 for the import fee, maybe $25.
Yeah, unfortunately,
so it's a cool $500 for me.
But of course, this is one of the all-time great props. It looks like, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is I'm not fond of hyperbole, but this is one of the few things in life that I gush over, and this is a game changer right here. This is one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my life. This is a museum quality replica remake, right? And it's sensational. I mean, who wouldn't want this? I'd rather have this than a classic car. I'm a sicko. I'm a sick person.
But this is great. I didn't know this guy, Hua Chang, and he bought stuff from Edmund Scientific. So of course you guys know I talk about my dad all the time, and he had Edmund Scientific, and I have some kits from Edmund Scientific still somewhere lying around. You buy stuff. So the Moire pattern he bought from Edmund Scientific. How wild is that?
Hua Chang is a genius. And
Yeah.
what he did for Star Trek is just absolutely sensational. It's mind-blowing. A prodigiously, preternaturally gifted creator. Just watching is just, I love all of his work. I love everything that he has done, and what a legacy.
It's amazing. Yeah. So Edmund Scientific, for those that are not as old as me, but it was a catalog of all kinds of like scientific, geek toys and magnets and experiments, and and I don't know if it was expensive, but then my dad would buy these, or my mom would buy these, but he always had this catalog, so it was kind of like the geek geek toys or interesting things that they had.
Even though catalog's spelled wrong.
Did they spell it
Is it
wrong?
really? Oh.
No, it's just American. It's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you missed American wrong. Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, is this guy so smart? I want to know. Has he ever calculated the odds of getting a Royal Fistman?
Pat S says, Raquel, for a point of reference, how much is a half-gallon bag of milk or a loaf of store brand white bread? Okay, so here for a store brand bread that would be baked that day at Safeway, you're looking at about $5. So in the $4.95 range, but it's going to be very high quality bread. So if you're saying store brand, it's going to be high quality bread. $4.89, $4.79. If it's Dutch Crunch or something special, a white bread that's very special, probably $4.99. It would be unlikely to bust the Finner mark, as we would say here in Canada, and Finner is just $5. As far as a half a gallon, I'm going to have to defer to my captain and ask my captain what a gallon is. What's a gallon?
Oh,
2 liters.
In liters?
It's 2 liters. Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
I think
probably.
actually,
Or
Mark
half
would know
gallon.
what
Half gallon would be
half gallon.
2 liters. Yep.
Let's get that.
That's right. You guys, you used the metric up there.
Yep.
They have Metch beers there too. Yep.
We're the only ones that use.
Yeah. So almost 2 liters. Yeah.
So a 2 liter of milk. So a 2 liter of milk, you're looking at probably about $3. And the only reason why I'm not quite firm on that is now that I'm an older person, I don't drink quite as much milk as I used to. But I think when last I checked, the big 4 liter, the big jug of milk that fits in the door of those new huge fridges, that's about $5 or $6, I think, at this point.
Wow.
Oh my.
Yeah, the food in the United States is quite cheap. Whenever I stay in Las Vegas, my dog gets quite picky about what she'll eat. And she won't eat any steak or burgers or anything down there. She loves the sandwich meat. So I go down to the deli in Vegas and I get her turkey breast or chicken breast, the deli sliced thin, and I bring it back to the hotel room. And it's about a third of the price when I'm down there. So I can get it like a monster bag of meat down there, and I'm just laughing my head off because it's $2 or $3, and up here that would be like at least $15 or $16 to have that amount of deli meat sliced up thinly, at a proper deli here.
Yeah, we have some crazy stores there. Yep. But I think that was it Gorbachev that came, or was it Khrushchev who went to the like the corner store in the U.S. and couldn't believe how much stuff. He's like, this privately said was even better than what the party bosses had.
I think it was Khrushchev, wasn't it?
It was Khrushchev. Maybe it was Khrushchev.
Your groceries in the United States are just absolutely so cheap that I've done quite a bit of traveling in my life, and the groceries in the United States are the cheapest I've ever seen them. Also, your property down there is so inexpensive. It's terrifying. I can't believe that people live in $200,000 homes that are 5,000 square feet. I mean, up here, that's just. That's unheard of. You know what I mean? Like up here, that would not work. You can't get a 1-bedroom apartment where I'm from for $200,000.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, this is the disc that they're coming up with for the communicators. They have all the color coded with the different log values or orientation status. So it's going to be really wild. Yep.
Wow.
So it's going to play different messages. Yep. So it's going to act.
Wow.
So it'll this will pull up all the information on the screen, I guess, too, which is wild. Oh, so it's going to have FM radio player.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I like that it has the FM radio player, because that's what
great.
the communicator was, or that's what the tricorder was originally based on, and I had the original tape recorder that had the internal radio that it was based on. So it had like the black leather covering around it, and it had the buttons in the front, and so that's what it was modeled after. And I think the original, the tester one, or possibly all of them, were gutted from that and made from those. So the connection to the old tape player from the late 1950s, early 1960s, I believe, is when they were made, are very strongly connected to the tricorder, which we covered on Saturday Night Star Trek on Clobberin Times.
Yeah.
Wow. Brought to you by Bang Bang, the makers of the sweetest little automatic in the world.
But can it Corey Apple?
We can Corey Apple. Love the honeymooners reference. You didn't think you were going to get me on a honeymooners reference, did you, dude?
I didn't think I knew you'd know that. Yep. And I use that line all the time.
Get it Corey Apple?
So good.
And people look at me and like, what's wrong with you? What's wrong?
Or a apple.
So $500 this thing is, and look at how beautiful it is. And may I ask, tell me a little bit about the wand company.
Well, they've been making replicas, so they had the communicator. So let's go to Wand Company. Yeah,
they had the one that was Bluetooth communicator. So let's show that to folks.
Yeah, so they had, let's see, they've got Star Trek, Doctor Who. So let's go to the communicator. It was gorgeous.
It was.
That is like
but Pokemon. Totally out of my budget.
Yeah. And this is one I wasn't smart enough to buy when it came out.
Yeah.
That's gorgeous. And you can use it as a phone and a microphone and pair it with
you had the scratch for that. Yeah, you should have bought that. When I see you, I'm going to kick you in the shin.
Yeah, you got a lot of pain. You and Steve got a lot of pain coming.
I better at least polish that pizza cutter. Then I get one.
Polish the pizza cutter and wear
shot.
And wear soccer shin guards, because I'm coming for you. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, that's a heck of a lot of money, gentlemen.
Yeah. Yeah, Raquel, and like you're saying, they made this really detailed and did a beautiful job. Yeah.
For you and Mitchum, Raquel's like Wyatt Earp. I'm coming, you hear? And hell's coming with me.
Yeah, Steve, you're in Vegas, right? Even in Vegas, your guys' housing, it's very, very reasonable for what you get. Yeah, it's just the United States. You guys do a lot of things in a very wonderful way, and you keep the cost of living really low compared to other countries. And it's fascinating and amusing and wonderful all at the same time.
Wow!
Oh, look at this.
Yeah. That's more gorgeous stuff. Yeah.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah, I didn't buy this one either. And it works as a remote control.
I remember when this one came out. It's just.
And you can shave with it. The Phaser 1.
It gives you a close shave. Yeah.
Pat says, Raquel, look at land in Nunavut. Back in the 60s, if you bought land and lived there for 3 years, you would get Canadian citizenship. To this day, it's still some of the cheapest land in North America. Yeah, Nunavut is tough living, though. And if you think my groceries are expensive, you should try Nunavut. Nunavut has some of the most expensive groceries in the world, I believe. I mean, you'll have to check that, but it's quite... the government actually subsidizes the food that goes up there, because it's so, like, you can't comprehend. Like, I believe I was told a story one time of a head of cauliflower being $17.
Hmm.
Wow.
So
So,
none of it. Look it up, Pat S.
wow.
The to get groceries and goods and services that far north, it costs a heck of a lot of money, and so it's lean living up there, or a great big sacrifices. So a beautiful place to live, incredible people, absolutely outstanding culture, and just a wonderful place to be. But at the same time, whew, expensive.
So what you're saying is you'll have none of it.
Yeah, that's
Sorry.
exactly it. It's like you just did. You just pulled a Scuba Pete. That was like
dedicated
that
to
was
Steve
A
Mitchell.
level.
I dedicate that one to Steve Mitchell because he probably thought of it too.
Yeah. Okay, that was A level punning right there.
I know. I have this, but it ain't that fancy. I mean, it's the toy of this. This thing looks really elaborate. I never really liked that design much anyway, to be honest, for the sonic screwdriver. I'm sorry. By the way, it figures that it's a wand because the way Davies wrote that thing with the doctor, it was a magic wand. It had no, it obeyed no science at all. It was ridiculous. It was like Thor's hammer.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Captain. Steve Mitchum says, "Well, Raquel speaks more highly of the U.S. than half the people who live here." Yeah, and I think that's very sad. I think you come from one of the most beautiful countries in the entire world, and just filled with the most marvelous people and wonderful ideas, and it's just such a wow. I wish people had better feelings. But the thing is sometimes when you have a lot and you have high expectations of yourself, you can beat up on yourself a lot. And I think that might be a good way to think about the USA today. Just people with very, very high aspirations who expect a lot of themselves, and so they beat up on themselves. And I would love to see Americans and the world be more positive toward your country, what it stands for, what it's trying to do, what it's trying to build. Constantly looking to better itself, to be a better version of itself than it was yesterday. And we can all hope to do that, can't we, Steve?
Sure hope
Well
so.
said, yep.
That looks more like 11's screwdriver than 12's. And by the way, we do appreciate you saying that stuff, Raquel, because some of us here really do love our country, just as you love yours. And but but there's nothing wrong with criticizing the government. It's the country I love, not the government. But it's just. Yeah, I love it. I love it here, and we love your country too. Even though I've never been there, I want to.
We got to get you up here for Volcon. I want to take you to Vulcan. I want to take you to Volcon, and I would like to take you to the mountains. I would love for you to go to Banff, and I'd love to take you to Jasper. We have to get you up here.
Are you still guys locked down up there in the Great North?
Oh goodness, no! Oh goodness, no, honey. I'm from Alberta. There are no lockdowns and no masks here.
Oh, good.
They just gave idiotic Louisiana. They just reinstated our mask mandate.
Is the border open though between Canada and the U.S. or is it still closed?
I think my prime minister is going to be opening the doors with provisions, but I'm not hard and fast on them.
Yeah.
I don't know what they are. Is what I mean to say. I beg your pardon.
Yeah, but so the a lot of people here were down on the U.S. or not to get too political, but I know people were upset with some of the athletes protesting during the Olympics, or I saw people actually glad that the U.S. Americans were glad. Some were glad that the U.S. lost to Canada because of the way the team was protesting. So. Not to get into the politics of it, but there's just some people are not happy with the way it's one thing to say, hey, we have flaws and we got to fix them, versus saying you're a horrible country. And I think remembering Bono had a quote that I remember seeing talking about what a grand experiment the United States was. It was the first country that was the people actually had a constitution. Yep. So if you read that Bono quote, and I think he was talking to George W. Bush, and I just went to his presidential museum, and he doesn't get enough credit. He worked with Bono a lot for fighting AIDS in Africa. So they were talking about all the work that he had done, and I think that's where that quote comes from, about talking about the
Yes.
grand experiment, and it's
I
amazing.
think it's so nice that Americans let Bono in. You know what I mean? If I had a say in Canada, I just wouldn't let Bono in. I'm sorry, you have to go back. Hey man, aren't you a singer?
Yeah.
Excuse me, sir. Aren't you a singer?
Sorta.
Yeah.
Clobby, sorta.
Sorta.
All right,
I
we're
love
gonna
it.
bash you too.
I
here,
got to
right?
admit, I make fun of him a lot, but Bono touched me when he said that. When he talked about how it's not, when he said all these other countries that maybe they're a great country, they're a country, but we're an idea. The United States is an idea and more than a country, and that's what I love about it.
It's a very
made me
beautiful
misty.
thing to say. Yes, it's
Yeah.
a very beautiful thing to say, and I feel the same way. It's just, Bono can be a little obnoxious. It's kind of like having a very small dog that you have failed to alter at the veterinarian. And so, when you invite folks over, there are many legs, and the dog has its way with them. So, Bono.
Oh my God. Yeah, the New Orleans mayor. Don't get me started on that one, Pat Asha. But yeah, Jazz Fest could be screwed again. There it is. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
I have to check on something, gentlemen. I will be right back. I'm not leaving.
Okay.
I'll just be right back. Okay.
Thanks, yeah, this was the quote. Yeah.
Wow.
I think. Yeah.
Cancel White Linen Night. Jazz Fest is probably screwed.
You're gonna cancel everything. Yep. Oh, that's right, Steve Mitch. Yeah, that the immigrant who was so happy. Especially if you come from another country. They're
the
why
ones who love the country the most.
Yeah.
Talk to some Cubans.
We've had 1 million people come here since January through the border.
Talk to all the Cubans that came over here, man.
Yep, I know several Cubans. Yeah, they lost everything and had to restart and build from scratch. And when you think you hear about things are bad, it's just imagine having everything taken away from you, losing everything that your family owns, and having to come here, with the shirt on your back and maybe a couple $100 and starting over from nothing. So
when you travel a lot, that's what you learn. You learn that there are some pretty impoverished and scary places in the world to live, and when you go home, you say your blessings, and hopefully you're not so shallow as to think that would never happen to you. Only shallow people go away to these countries and think that when they come home that that could never happen to me. Thank goodness I'm here. It should spark a gratefulness and a humbleness.
Go down to Miami and talk to all those Cubans who escaped what they escaped and how much of it. And because my brother married into a Cuban family, and they love this country because they know what they came from. 9 miles of shark-infested waters. Some of them swam through it to get here, get away from communism. So there you go, Steve Mitchum, absolutely. But and also, I would escape personally. I would escape to Babylon 5.
Yeah.
Leave Earth.
Yeah, I'm leaving. I'm going right away.
You have no idea how much I wanted to tell you what, about the episode that you watched last night. But I wanted you to have the surprise. So I didn't. When you got to see Magil, that she would be there.
Yeah, it's absolutely outstanding. I absolutely love Babylon 5.
Yep.
It's a world to escape into. It's so great because it's a world to escape into.
It is. It's a place to go. And there are so few books and films that can create that environment for your brain. Instead of, it happening to you, you happen inside of it. And that's an incredible, incredible feeling that I've only felt a few times in my life. Dune, when I read The Hobbit when I was quite young, Don Quixote, the Iliad. You feel like you're going somewhere, and of course I always felt that way with Star Trek TOS, and I definitely feel that with Babylon 5. Babylon 5 is a very, very special show, and it's terrific.
If they can get you so involved with these characters and get you involved in that world, and it's just so engrossing. And you get there, and you feel like you're, like you just said, every episode you feel like you're visiting that station. And with that small budget they had to work with for that, to get those interior of that station, because I thought they did a marvelous job with the interior of the station on Deep Space Nine. But there's something about the way they did it with Babylon 5, with a lot less to work with. It's just extraordinary.
Was it kind of like Blake 7 in that way, where it's they're making do with what they've got, and
well, they didn't have
Blake 7 had no money, I guess, but
yeah, they had more than any kind of like that. But of course, Straczynski cites Blake 7 as one of his influences, mainly with characterization. But yes.
Hey, Dad Man Walking just walked through the door.
Hey,
Sorry to interrupt you, Clobby.
Hey, Dad Man. How's it going?
Yeah, they didn't have a huge budget with B5, especially because we were using that new technology with the video toaster at the time for the effects. But they didn't really have a lot to work with the sets either. I mean, in terms of where they filmed and all that stuff, but they did a marvelous job. Different Raquel. The thing about that is, it's not a science show like Star Trek is. So they don't have a science officer. It's not a technical show, so they don't have an engineer. You don't need it for the drama that they're telling here. You don't need those. So it's always kind of funny. I thought about that when I'm going, you know what? They don't have somebody where Sheridan or Sinclair could go call engineering and say, hey, what's wrong? Bitch someone out, like bitch Scotty out for what's going on with the engines or whatnot.
Yep.
You don't even have that aspect to the show. It is more about a drama and kind of a war show, and in the best sense of the word, really.
It's more of a military show, but it's in that way. I think that's why I like it, and I like it in the same style as TOS, because you got this sense that they really were out discovering alien life forms, and really unpacking these fully developed life forms, and that is such an art. Like when you start getting into these characters and you start to get into these species, they're so developed behind the scenes. The stories are so real that the aliens become humanoids to you, and you're invested in them. And so in that way it reminds me of TOS. But yes, you're absolutely right. This is I don't know what I could compare it to. I don't know. It's just something so different. It's definitely not like DS9.
No.
I was promised it was going to be like DS9, but it is much better than DS9. It's much better than DS9 could have ever have hoped to have been. And it's just remarkable because it feels altogether sciencey, but it's a completely different way in delivering it. It's not really, I really wouldn't even call it a space opera, because it doesn't deal with like the sexual or emotional needs of everyone. More so where it deals with the whole lives of people. And I absolutely love that.
Yeah. It's almost, I guess you could say maybe it's a hybrid between Babylon. You could say that DS9 is a hybrid between Babylon 5 and Star Trek The Next Generation. They deal with a lot of the same types of things Babylon 5 does in terms of the war and the Dominion and all that stuff. On the other hand, they have standalone stuff that are similar to The Next Generation because they're in the Star Trek universe. But the similar, look, you got two great shows rather than the one that we would have had if Paramount had hired Straczynski. I don't know what would have happened with I guess it still would have been Deep Space Nine.
I don't know, but I just think that what you just said was just absolutely beautifully said. And that is an absolutely wonderful way to construct the ideas around it, which is, that idea of that DS9 in TNG and a little bit of magic sprinkled in. It's just so good.
That's high praise to say it's better than DS9, because DS9 is a pretty damn good show.
It is a good show.
DS9 is a good show. And, what's really funny is on Medium, there is a PhD who studies, I believe, comm theory. So he's from the same field as I am. And he conducted several surveys to create a meta-analysis of all Star Trek fans up to, I forget what year, maybe 2006, maybe 2007. So this doesn't include the filth. And they asked people to give their honest feedback, and basically do it in an anonymous way where there wasn't any peer pressure to choose what they liked. And overwhelmingly, through every generation of Star Trek fan since the beginning of Star Trek, people overwhelmingly choose DS9, which I
Wow.
found very, very shocking. And I
That
shared that.
surprises me. Yeah.
I shared that on social media. I think, geez, I don't know, guys. Maybe 5 or 10 years ago, really that long ago. And you would have to dig around for it on Medium, but there is a PhD who did reveal that, and I was totally shocked. And then I started looking through the meta-analyses that he had put together, and I mean, these were good. These were good studies. They were sound studies. He even was open about some of the surveys that he had done and their weaknesses in formatting the questions, the style of questions. I mean, he was just so open and honest about the whole thing. And evidently, when you get a lot of Star Trek fans in private and there's no one around to judge them for it, they choose DS9.
Wow. Well, some people are subject to peer pressure, right? It's I think that was kind of like a little bit with the Black Widow movie where everyone's saying, "Oh, you gotta hate it, you gotta not like," and I just came out and said, and I think Clobberin Times, you agreed with me too. It wasn't a horrible, it wasn't a horrible movie. It wasn't, it wasn't,
Yeah, it was
Star
sort of
Wars,
there.
the original Star Wars, but it wasn't, it was a good popcorn movie, and I enjoyed watching it. So you kind of get this group think. So it's really interesting to hear too when people, can make a choice and not have to worry about what other people think, or it's always the same thing too, where you see what people do when no one's watching. That's when you know what a true test of character is. When
Well, yeah, it wasn't the worst of the Marvel films. It was not even very good, and it's not as bad as a lot of them. I mean, but the group think wasn't just that it was bad. They had to think it was the worst thing that's ever happened in the Marvel movies. I'm like, yeah, come on, it's got its faults, but come on.
wasn't I've seen a lot worse
way
movie
worse.
was
Captain Marvel's way worse.
Yeah, for me, like I go against the grain in not liking DS9. It's not that I hate it or anything. It's just that I think that people very often oversell DS9. And one of the reasons why I don't like DS9 is because, I'm a huge Isaac Asimov fan. I love Carl Sagan. I love hard science fiction. I love TOS because I like that idea of exploring ideas without exploring people's inner struggle to find that special someone, to reach out and to find that sexual and emotional connection with another person. I just think there's so much of it in literature. There's so much of it in TV. There's so much of it in film. I don't enjoy it. I just don't. I don't like that in my science fiction. So when I look at DS9, I think it's nice and it's pretty and it's beautiful, and I think it really good work, and I think it's a very strong work of science fiction. At the same time, I do have to say that I have more of a preference for Roddenberry's style, which was you're seeing people at work. And so when you're seeing people at work, you're not seeing somebody sitting there, blubbering and crying because they don't have a date and things like that. They're in a military environment where they're expected to show up and behave, to comport themselves in a certain way. And I really enjoy that. I don't enjoy all of the, oh, Worf, I love you. Oh, Quark. Rom, and all that kind of stuff. Like, it's just not my cup of tea. And it's not that I hate it. So I don't want anyone to get me wrong. I think DS9 is beautiful science fiction, and I'd rather watch it over anything made after 2005. I just absolutely love it. It is untouchably perfect in so many ways. But once you get into that untouchably perfect zone and you start putting things in order and you start assigning priority to it, it's really low for me. As a matter of fact, the more I go back and read Isaac Asimov, the more I go back and consider Carl Sagan, the more I go back and consider Gene Roddenberry, the more Enterprise gets higher and higher on my list.
Yep.
Definitely above Voyager these days. So, but you know.
Well, yeah, that's why that was one of the big problems with the filth. Is, to quote you, is I know you didn't watch the third season, but it was driving me, and I just watch it because I know I have to watch it. So I, if I want to talk about it, or maybe they'll have something good on it, which hasn't happened yet. But it's like written like bad fan fiction where they're telling each other how great they are and they're like cheering for each other, and like you would never have that on a quasi-military based ship, or you wouldn't be able to function. I mean, but when Star Trek original series had that few moments, it was real special. Like the scene where Spock thinks Kirk is dead, and he sees him alive, and he says, "Jim," that one. It's just that one set, and of course Nimoy is so brilliant acting, so that
and it
helps
remains
too.
powerful because you're not dripping in it. It's
just, right. Yes.
Oh, like
it's a special moment.
Yeah, I respect the writing of DS9. I think it's absolutely wonderful. But anybody who sits down and says, "Let's make a romance" on Star Trek is somebody who I don't like. I want to put not Kirk's a jerk, but like kick me on the back of their. You know what I mean? Poor Kirk's a jerk.
That's what happened with Voyager. They had to ship. Now the new term is shipping. Characters together, so that's where they had to have Chakotay and Janeway together.
Yeah, and, it's a big turn off for me. It's a big when you read the Fountain series, you're exploring a place you've never been before. You're exploring a new place in your mind. You're tickling your brain to go somewhere else and transport you to what could be. Dreams that lie beyond.
Yep.
And that to me is a magical place where we can aspire to be more, to learn more, to do more. And if you're just going to include like, "Oh, Rom, I love you, Rom," or like,
they have the Sheridan-Delenn relationship though, but it's pertinent to what they're doing.
And it's so subtle. Let it be subtle.
I can't say much because you haven't seen it all yet, but it's, as you can see, it's a relationship.
Yes. But I like as little of that as possible. So thus far in my B5, and I'm not done, folks, but thus far in my B5, there is very little, "Oh, Rom," and that is really great for me. I love Lita. Lita's very cute also. Absolutely adorable lady. Sexy, cutie patootie, just an adorable creature, and I love her very much. But it just, like I said, when we're talking about the ordering the final, when you're making your final approach, I'm going in with Asimov, and I'm going in with Roddenberry.
Yeah, well, I can see in Voyager where it makes a little bit more sense if they knew they were going to be stuck, and never make it back to the Federation.
The Tom Paris and B'Elanna thing, you mean? A relationship,
Yeah, some of those things could work, but and that's not why you're watching a science fiction show. Or if you have a little bit of it, like Raquel's saying, you just a little inference there, or maybe part, if it happens to be part of the story, like there are a few original series episodes, where McCoy falls for someone or Scotty falls for, but there was one-off episodes where it wasn't overriding throughout the series.
And it also accentuates the fact that back in the day, sailors would come into port and they would meet some sexy ladies, and they might have too much to drink, and then that was the end of that. And lots of children were born out of that, let me tell you. But I'm just seeing, like, that's not what I look for when I look for, when I'm looking at science fiction. Like, look at First Contact. You know what I mean? Like, when you're looking at science fiction, for me, I want to reach out and go to a different place. I want to explore ideas behind astrophysics. I don't want to explore the relationships between people. I know that has to be a part of the story. It's not like I'm a robot and I want all feelings divorced from it and no one can be in a relationship. I don't speak in absolutes and extremes like that.
No,
what I'm
no.
saying is that I just don't appreciate too much of that. I like a little nuance and to just keep it on the science fiction.
Yeah, I mean, I like the O'Briens. I thought that's the thing. That, again, because they don't dominate anything, but they're there. You know, he happens to be a married man, Keiko. I've always kind of liked Keiko a little bit, but it doesn't dominate. They don't really do, well, of course, the show lasted 7 years. You can do an episode here and there to deal with the kind of stuff. I was never all that big on the Worf Dax thing, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah, and you're going to be extremely disappointed in me because, you are my Star Trek soulmate. You have been ever since I met you. We agree on absolutely almost everything down to the little tiniest detail, but Keiko makes me want to jump off a cliff.
I'll never be disappointed in you ever.
Wait until we get to those episodes because I just, you know what I mean?
Really? Wow.
Yeah, she's the most annoying, and he until he has these moments where he experiences PTSD and he's tortured behind enemy lines and has that stuff happen to him. But anyway, that was one of the least interesting places to go and annoyed the heck out of me. I just, I don't want Keiko cooking anything for me. Go away, Keiko.
When the show first came out, I said, "How is this gonna be like Star Trek? They're stuck on a space station. What's gonna happen? I mean, they're not gonna be exploring.
Anywhere.
They're not going anywhere.
The boldly stay.
What's going on?" And of course, that was then they added the wormhole. Of course, boom, the first episode. I mean, I can still remember. My memory is horrible on certain things, but great on other things. I can still remember inviting friends over. I could tell you who was at the party I had to watch Deep Space Nine, and we watching it, and just to watch new Star Trek, and but then I probably forgot what was in the episode, but it's those kind of things are ingrained in your mind because you're like, oh, you're so excited, but I'm like, they're going to be in a space station. What's going to happen? It's like, but then the writing does get a lot better too in the later seasons. In terms of fleshing out the characters, just like TNG has been mostly a disaster on the first season. Although I thought the episodes coming up weren't as bad. I thought the one with Wesley going to Starfleet Academy, at least they wrote him a little bit more like a human being who actually failed a little bit. And some of those, I watched 3 of them on the plane. The first episode had expired on my Netflix account, so I couldn't watch it. But I thought they were better. They were better episodes coming up this week.
After last week, you can't. I'll tell you this: you can't be worse. We can't.
Right? I mean, last
we
week
can't divulge what we think of the episode.
We
No
can't.
spoilers. No spoilers.
But
No spoilers for your
I
show.
will say that after last week, it wasn't as.
Last week was horrendous episode. Of course, we had a blast as usual. It's so fun hanging out in the chat with Steve and all the guys here, and we you guys are fantastic on that show. So
thank you.
We have fun no matter how bad the episodes are. But those were some uber clunkers in that one. But watching
Clobby and I are trying to teach people that Star Trek fans, true Trekkies, original gangster Trekkies, the OG, as the cool kids say on the internet, the OG fans, we have always been critical of bad Star Trek. We're also the first people to point bad Star Trek out. We don't just blindly follow whatever corporation happens to be owning Star Trek. And goodness knows you would be dizzy in the case of TOS. It changed hands 4 times.
Yeah.
So in the space of it in production alone. So yeah, we're trying to exemplify that type of brutal honesty where we demand good writing, we demand good craft, we demand a relationship with the writer and with the crafts people who help to create this fantasy world for us, and we want to uphold that relationship and celebrate that
Yeah.
relationship. And whenever it goes corporate, Clobby and I are the first to call it. That's corporate Star Trek. And I'm sorry, you could take your corporate Star Trek and
Stuff it.
yeah, and you can put it somewhere where sun is not shining.
Yeah.
So yeah, and we're trying to exemplify that. We're trying to show that we put our money where our mouth is, because I think there's a lot of confusion on social media about the fact that before that we were all just blind sheep who were just blindly consuming Star Trek, and now we just don't like it because we don't want anyone on our lawn, and nothing could be further from the truth. No one has thrown more popcorn than true Star Trek fans.
Yeah.
Indeed. Indeed.
Yeah, well, I mean that's why when it first came out, you kind of had the you're more gentle to it because it's new Star Trek and you're watching it, and Encounter at Farpoint was a good episode, I thought, and then you had with some clunkers. I remember talking to my friends like, this isn't going so well, but we didn't have the internet back then, of course, and I guess you had conventions maybe, or you had magazines, but you didn't have that outlet, and maybe later in college you had bulletin boards, I think, but you didn't have that fan interaction too, where I mean, maybe the show wouldn't have made it, I guess, if
there's no way on network television it would have been dead
today.
In 12 episodes.
Oh yeah. It would have been finished. The thing that I absolutely loved is last Saturday, I loved that we had people who were considerably younger than us in the chat. And they brought up that thing that I was talking about when we first started talking about how we actually felt in '87 when we first came upon Wesley Crusher, and how there were so many young men in junior high and high school who were fascinated by this idea that one could be an astronaut and go out and have these kinds of adventures. And Clobby and I we were so happy that folks who were even younger than that, even younger than junior high, I believe one of our listeners actually said, I was so young, I considered him the Fonz. And and he had the little rainbow shirt and everything else. And so we try to do that on Saturday Night Star Trek. Yeah. We try to talk about that socio-historical context so that we don't talk about the barnacles on our fandom. We talk about the real deal, right? Because we've all got the barnacles. After 40 or 50 years of watching Star Trek, you have to have barnacles. But you can't tell your story through your scars. You have to tell your story as though it were new when you're doing it the way Clobby and I do it.
Yeah, no, that's true, because I remember watching the animated series. I still can't remember what I watched first, not that it matters that much, but I always remember, like, God, it'd be so cool to be in the Enterprise, and Roddenberry's that self-insert, which you learned years later, but I think the problem was the writing, like this episode, Coming of Age. I thought Wesley was actually written. You guys you'll say what you want to say on Saturday night, but I thought it was written, without spoilers, but I thought the character was actually written a little bit better. And if it was more that kind of character where he failed or had some humanity to him and, no reflection on the actor, it would have been such a much better character where it's,
DC Fontana, it's important that folks at home realize that by this time, though, DC Fontana had been going to conventions and giving interviews for a few months on what she called the Wesley problem. Yeah. So that might have been the incentive to start moving that Wesley problem along, if you get my drift.
Yeah. So maybe that episode's a reflection, but and plus I was on the airplane, so it's always nice to have something. I mean, the technology too. It's like you've got Star Trek technology. I downloaded 8 episodes onto my iPad. I got my wireless headphones so I can listen to whatever I want or watch whatever I want. I've got this little L-Cars tablet that I can watch Star Trek: The Next Generation on, to be ready for Saturday night. But just the technology is just so incredible to
It's almost criminal that we have these pads and that they're not a double D, because they should be double D, and Star Trek should get its due. But yeah, I do love it. The Apple watches and the cell phones, and and the pads 1D. It's double D's always better, right, guys?
Yeah. No comment.
Yeah. We're guys.
Of course, yeah, we're guys. Yeah. D batteries. Yeah.
Badass. Yeah. Who Mourns for Morn was kind of a funny one. The Steve Mitchum doesn't watch. Morn is there's a character that was kind of a funny running joke all through the 7 years of Deep Space Nine, where this alien named Morn hung out at the bar. Sound like a guy named Norm that hung out at Cheers, and. The joke was he would talk your ear off. This alien, he real funny looking alien, big dude, but you actually never get to hear him talk. Everyone talk ever, which is funny. And finally, they did an episode later in the series, Kahoot, where they think he's dead. It's a boy, but that was a funny running joke. You got to admit, it was always they'd say, "Oh, when Morn said this, I thought he would never stop talking," but you never get to hear him. But he always apparently he's a chatty.
Very clever to make Morn out of Norm, and especially for folks who love Cheers. And it was quite funny at the time. But lots of good stuff in DS9. Just not my favorite at this time. And that could change in 3 or 4 years. That could change, because you know what? When you rewatch this stuff over and over and over again in chronological order, the way that I do, I always have a different opinion, because A, I'm a different person who is a different age. I've literally been doing this my whole life. And B, the world changes, and the world around you affects how you feel about these IPs. So just right now. Sorry, folks. Just right now, I'm just I'm not feeling the DS9, but we'll see when we get to it. But Enterprise is just it's just so fresh right now. Enterprise is just so fresh.
I love Enterprise, but it took me a long time to warm up to Deep Space Nine, but I went back to it in 2016. Now I really do love it. It takes a while to get started, but even in its infancy, it's not quite as bad as TNG was in its infancy, but it still took a long time to get going. I love it. It's very different. But just like I said, when people talk about B5 versus DS9, whichever one you like better is fine. The fact is, because of the way things went, we got 2 shows instead of 1.
Yeah.
So it's kind of and there are big differences and there are similarities. And this, when you ought to watch that Dave Cullen video where he breaks down, did Paramount steal the Deep Space Nine idea for?
I do need to watch that.
That he makes a great case about all the similarities. He doesn't try to. He just says, "Just look at this." He doesn't really make up a, And the thing is, when you look at all the things that are in Deep Space Nine, that once you watch Babylon 5, you go, "Oh my goodness." Yeah, they had to. I mean, I believe Straczynski that he shot.
They probably did. Yeah, they probably did.
Oh my God, yeah. And again, they're still different animals. Because see, on Deep Space Nine, even though obviously it was moving away from the Roddenberry type of thing that he would want to do, as they said, as they admitted, even though that's the case, you're still bound to be. You're in the Star Trek universe, so you still have to conduct yourself in a certain way, even if you're going to put a war in there or whatever. You still have to be, the B5, they're not like human beings or monsters or anything, but not quite as evolved as the people in Star Trek are. They're still very flawed, still not as, certainly don't have the kind of positive vision of the future that it does, but they want to be. They want to be better. It's not quite the Roddenberry ideal, though, of a future by any stretch of the imagination, nor is it ridiculously dystopian either.
Yeah,
in other words, there's some balance there, but it's not quite the hopeful vision of the future. It's not about that. That's what Star Trek is about. And yes, it's adventures and things too, and concepts and ideas and characterization and all those wonderful things. Babylon 5 is about conflict in the future. It's not whereas Blake 7 is the antithesis of Star Trek. It is about being the opposite of Star Trek. It's the warning. Star Trek is where we want to go.
That's why I think so many people love Star Trek, that Gene's vision for, his humanitarianism, and the world's going to be a better place someday. We're striving to get there, so that's why people love that. But then there's also sci-fi. I love to watch all different types of sci-fi too. So grim and gritty, can also work, or darker, like a Terminator. First two movies, especially that second movie. That's got that warning message there. And as we get more and more developed with AI, I sent you and Raquel that article today on the Chinese AI bots. And Raquel, I know you've been talking about that stuff a lot, but that's scary to think. You could make up virtual people that can influence opinions and change the course of how people think or people react, or what's viewed, what's watched, or so AI is going to be even more prevalent or more of an issue going forward. So Raquel, have you seen Black Mirror? Have you watched that?
Yeah, I watched it as soon as it came out. Yeah,
and I'm assuming you like that. Probably, I'm guessing you like that anthology type.
Absolutely. That's a good guess. I love short fiction forms. I really love stuff like flash fiction and short story. It is very taught, very disciplined writing. Now, that's not to say that full novels are undisciplined. It's just I really like the short fiction forms for their for how taught you have to be in telling the story, and how much discipline it takes to flesh out something that inspires and is engrossing in such short prose.
Yep. So I thought that was a fantastic series. I mean, not every episode is great, but
I like Philip K. Dick's Electric Dreams better.
That was great. Yeah, that was great. That was that Amazon, or was that Hulu, or
I'm not sure.
I'm trying to remember. Yeah, sure. But that's people can look that one up. But that was a great
that one
series.
has a very strong literary quality. And Pat S. E says, I would love to hear what you guys think about my 15-year-old nephew's top 3. Right now, Pat S., I have the weirdest order that I have had in the entire time that I have been a Star Trek fan. I've never had an order like this ever. But because of all of the politics and all the crap that's been going on and just everything that's been happening, here's my order. And this is only for this year. Remember, people, if you're a growing, healthy, intelligent person, your opinions and thoughts should change. Here's my order right now: TOS, TAS, TNG, a tie between DS9 and ENT, and Voyager. That's my order right now.
I think he was referring to a question, to something he talked about, which characters his nephew likes the best. But I mean, if it's the top in order for me, it's TOS, DS9, INT, and Next Generation Voyager. I forgot TAS, didn't I? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
it's in there. It's in there.
It's in there. You have to put it somewhere. Tell me where you're putting it.
I think I got it right before Voyager.
Okay. Mark?
Yeah, I would go definitely TOS, TNG, despite the P-hard stuff, DS9, Enterprise, then Voyager. Well, I got an animated series. I guess I'd like better than Voyager. Then we go Voyager. Voyager last. Yeah, Voyager last.
He was referring. He said his nephew is, if I'm getting this right, Pat S. Said his Did you say your nephew?
3 shows, maybe?
Well, he was talking about characters or something. He said he liked Spock. Oh. He liked. Well, go ahead and put that in because I lost it. That S.
Yeah. We said, what do you think about my nephew's 15-year-old nephew's top 3? But top 3 what? So yeah, Pat S.
He was mentioned. He said 3 characters. He said he loves Spock, Odo, and Archer.
Oh, okay, that was before. Yep.
And I think he's got good taste.
Oh, here we go.
Son kicks some serious butt at a water polo tournament.
Yeah.
Congratulations to your marvelous son on his outstanding performance at the water polo tournament. I know Porthos is giving a woof.
Yeah, they were happy. Yeah.
Yeah, Archer is bouncing that ball off the wall.
Yeah, so my
Yeah.
son, he was in. We were in Dallas, Texas, because of the vid. California was shut down, so they had the tournament in Texas, and so my son's the goalie for the team, and they came in first place for under 18, which is pretty prestigious. So every team in the country, minus California. Unfortunately, California couldn't be there, but they came in first place, and they won the last game 16-15. So it was nerve wracking. It was it was as a parent,
Wow.
and he's a goalie. So
Nice.
I posted a bunch of pictures. I got to post a few more pictures of those on my Facebook and Instagram. But it was he was really happy. So and kids sometimes don't. Show him. You're like, are you, worried about it? And after he told me, he's going to kill me for saying this, but it's okay. But he's not watching. But he said he was really nervous going to the game, which is fine.
Well,
You
I
should
can
be
understand
nervous.
that.
But you ask him, are you okay? You're fine. You don't want to bug kids too much. But that's fun. That water polo is obviously Captain Archer's.
Yes, it
sport.
is.
Couple of the game, one of the plot lines, I guess. Yeah, he's trying to get he's watching the old games, and he's trying to find out the scores of from his college and what's happening. So that was pretty.
Admiral Forrest would send him the scores and stuff. I love.
Yeah.
Look, as long as this means real deal Spock. I know he's 15 years old, so this is actually an interesting little trio there.
Insight,
of course,
yes.
Spock, big time, no brainer. That's fantastic. I love Odo. I think he's a great character, and I like the choice of Archer because you don't hear that much.
Yeah.
So, Pat S., kudos to your nephew at 15. Steve Mitchum.
Good night,
Buddy.
Steve Mitchum. Take care.
We love you. Kiss Maddie for me. We also have another question here coming up from Dadman Walking.
Dadman,
55.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
he
a good
says,
question.
is there a difference in what you define as sci-fi versus a movie or show that happens to take place in space? Yeah, there are lots. Certainly, you'll see a lot of people conflating science fiction and science fantasy these days, and you can definitely tell that they don't know the difference. The audience and to some effect, you can tell that the writers don't either. So for science fiction, how you know that it's science fiction is the defining thing for science fiction is that it's possible in the future. So it tries to, it's more like futurism. It's trying to build on what is possible, what we can do. And it's always rooted in fact and in science that is plausible, even if it's theoretical, like mathematical theory or proof that an astrophysicist has come up with. So that's what science fiction is. And then when we start to get into science fantasy, we know it's science fantasy because science fantasy breaks the barriers of what is possible, what is real. So that's where we start to see things like that weird tardigrade drive, because dun 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 dun. That's my really bad Mario Brothers, but that's pure fantasy.
Stolen from a video game too, so
Yeah,
they stole the idea too, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And so and sometimes you'll see things in science fantasy that just you're breaking the barriers for what could be perfectly explained through fact and science as we know it today, including theory and mathematical proofs, and certainly proofs in astrophysics. So yeah, so then there's also space opera. So when we're looking at a space opera, we're really looking at. I know that was bad, Mario. I'm sorry. I'm a nerd, not a geek. I do apologize.
It wasn't bad.
I said it was good.
Oh, that wasn't bad. Oh God, thank goodness. And so yeah, and then the opera. It involves that more heightened emotion. So we're starting to see a lot more interaction with high-minded ideals and fifis, and there are lots of relationships and fifis happening. And so yeah, so I definitely encourage you, because I don't want to sit here and just natter on all night, but I definitely encourage you to go and look up just look up the word genre, and when you do, you should be able to catalog it, and you will see that science fiction breaks off into science fiction, hard science fiction, science fantasy, space opera. There are lots of subcategories, and that is such a wonderful question, Dad
That's a
Man
great
Walking.
question.
One of the reasons
How
why
would you
I don't
classify?
like The Filth is because The Filth is not science fiction. They actually changed the genre.
How would you classify the fifth element? That was that touch on a few of different ones. The Fifth Element.
The Fifth
That's
Element. I haven't
with
seen
Bruce
that one
Willis.
in so long.
Yeah, because that's got some space opera, I would think, and maybe some
Yeah.
sci-fi.
It's like a
Yeah.
fantasy
That's a tough one to
adventure.
pick. Some fantasy,
Yes.
yep.
Yeah, definitely fantasy. I think would be
More
involved
than
there.
more than hard sci-fi, I guess.
Yeah.
Or like the new Lost in Space, which I thought was terrible. That was just basically like a
Oh,
space opera, action and space. You know, there was no real hard sci-fi in it, or no real mysteries, or it's very disappointing, that new Lost in Space series. The only thing I thought was cool,
That
I
sucked.
loved to sail, was how they tried to figure out how to sail the spacecraft, because they had to
Hated
get
that
off.
show.
Yeah, but it was really disappointing. I mean,
Lost in Space used to be so important to me that just because it was, I actually watched that first season. Oh, that new thing on Netflix. Oh,
yeah, it was definitely not good. Yeah, I was like, come on, give us some, something interesting, some mysteries. The one show I remember watching, Earth 2, I really liked that show.
it didn't last long, did it?
Only one season. It was a Spielberg show, or then they went to another. They were, trying to colonize another planet, and they had the natives there. There were interesting natives, and there was conflicts, and it was more of a maybe like a space fantasy. But that was a show that I really enjoyed, Earth 2. But yeah, that didn't last too long.
I'm sorry, I beg your pardon. You're very welcome, Dad Man Walking. It's important to understand why a lot of people have rejected certain science fiction, and understanding that there are genres that are distinct and there are subgenres is incredibly important to substantiating your argumentation, and also expressing the things that you like. The best, I think, I give this answer often, but it truly is the best answer. And I haven't read this book in so long, but possibly the best example of true hard science fiction would be Contact by Carl Sagan. I haven't read it since I think the 1990s. It came out in 1985, and that is a marvelous work of hard science fiction, and I enjoyed it. I have no idea why I haven't reread it, but that is a marvelous book. And if you want an example of the extreme of hard science fiction, where there's no Rom. That is definitely the book you should find.
I gotta clip that. Where's the wake down the clip?
Yeah, you gotta clip that.
So one of my favorite shows, of course, was The Outer Limits. So and of course the Twilight Zone. But you get with an anthology show like that, you'd also get different types of episode within that show. But that was a show that always made you think. And one of my friend of mine, his mom actually wrote to Rod Serling. I got to get to ask her for that letter, a copy of that letter about one of the episodes. And I'm trying to, and he wrote back to her, which was amazing. So she's got a letter from Rod Serling explaining his thoughts on one of the episodes. I'm forgetting what the episode was, but I got to ask her if I could scan that, maybe talk about that. But that was such a thought-provoking series. And actually, I like the new Outer Limits too. The remake had some great stories, and one of the stories I remember, and more of a horror story, where the Outer Limits were aliens had invaded the Earth, and there were 4 or 5 people buried like 3 miles underground, and every day they had to check in. And they had a doomsday button that would destroy the Earth to keep the aliens from taking control. And one by I don't want to give any spoilers, but certain things happen, and the person is wondering, is it the aliens that are getting to the other people, or what's happening? Should I push the button to destroy the planet? And there's a really great classic, Twilight Zone, Outer Limits, I should say, a twist in the end where you think everything's okay, and there's a fantastic twist in it. So I don't know if any of you guys have watched any of that new Outer Limits or seen it, but there were some really well done episodes on that show.
I didn't watch. I mean, of course, I'm a big fan of the original Outer Limits, and so I haven't really watched too many of the newer iterations. Just like with the newer Twilight Zones, of course, I love Serlings. I watched the one in the mid '80s. I watched the movie, and then I watched the short-lived CBS show. Had some pretty good episodes of Twilight Zone on that one, but when they brought it back to UPN, the only one I watched was the one with Billy Mooney because they did a sequel to one of my favorite episodes called "It's a Good Life." And it's kind of like, I don't know if they really need to do this sequel, but I watched it because because it was such a classic episode. I love it. Yeah, Rod Serling was a genius.
Yeah, you want to see what happened, but I'd recommend checking out that new Outer Limits. I guess I haven't watched it in so many years, but there was another episode. If you remember an episode, 20 years later, it's marked. There's one episode where a fighter pilot has been caught. And he's in a prison planet. And it's actually the guy from from Terminator, I think. The evil
Michael Biehn.
I think. Terminator 2. Who was the T2?
Eddie Furlong. Robert Patrick.
Yeah, I think it was Robert Patrick. But it's just there's such a fantastic twist in the episode where they're in a prison camp being held by they're fighting for survival, and their fighter where not fighter pilots, I guess starfighter pilots have been captured, but there's such a fantastic twist, and they actually have a couple of sequels. Some of the episodes they
did a sequel to the old one.
Yeah, they join together and they have like continuing stories, even though it's an anthology series. So that's one of the ones that
do a sequel to the Outer Limits episode that Leonard Nimoy was on about the robot. Yep. The robot episode, iRobot. What was it called? iRobot.
Yeah, they called it iRobot. And I think Adam Nimoy was in it, if I'm correct, and.
Yeah, I think they did a sequel to that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember if I saw it or not. Man.
Yeah. So but there's a lot of classic sci-fi and
the original Outer Limits was so damn good. The Demon with the Glass Hand is such a masterpiece.
With Robert Culp, I love Robert Culp.
Thank God they didn't remake that one.
Yeah.
Did you ever get the DC Comics adaptation of that one?
No.
With Marsha Rogers doing the art. Oh my God, it's beautiful. You see, in the 80s, DC did a bunch of graphical, and they were actual real graphic novels, but they were adaptations of classic science fiction stories, usually novels and stuff. But one of Raquel's favorite people, the boob grabber, wrote, of course, the masterpiece Demon with the Glass Hand episode of Outer Limits, and they did an adaptation of that one in one of those DC science fiction. There was their special series of science fiction graphic novels. And they adapted a lot of science fiction classic novels, but this one was one they adapted a TV teleplay to that, and it was great art by the late great Marshall Rogers. So it's word for word, by the way, as well of the episodes. I love it.
Oh, so there's no they don't edit anything, or they just put everything. Yep.
Pat S says, is Decker a replicant? Pat S, I cannot answer that question because, believe it or not, this will probably shock a lot of people when I say this. I have never read the book, and I don't think that information can be gleaned from the film. I think you can only glean that type of information. You can only get that full impression by reading the original source material. So I can't comment on it. So I'll throw that to Clobby and to Mark. Do you believe he's a replicant?
Well, the original short story, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? From what people tell me, because I haven't seen Blade Runner since I saw it in the theater in 1982. I know it's another shocker coming to you. I liked it okay. I never became obsessed with it as so many people are. No knock on those who are. It's a classic and all that good stuff. And I've always meant to go back and watch it again. So it just never was the biggest fan. So I don't have an opinion on that. But I'm not so sure you can even. From what I hear, the short story is very different from the film.
It's a short story? I thought it was a book.
Yes. That was a short story, was it not?
Well, I don't know.
I think it was.
Philip K. Dick was a lot of short stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a short story like a lot of films made on. He's had a few films. Total Recall was based on a short story he did called We Can Remember It For You Wholesale.
Yeah.
And Free Jack was an adaptation of a story of his called, Immortality Inc. or something?
Mm-hmm.
So But from what I've heard of people who've read the story more recently than I have and have seen the film a million times, their argument always centers around the film. They never even they say you can't tell from the books. So excuse me, the short story. I don't know if that's true or not because I've read the short story since 1984, 5, 3, whatever it was.
Okay, now I need to get that.
Yeah, it's definitely a short. Yeah,
I thought it was like I didn't think it was like a full novel. I thought it was like a novella or something. I knew it was quite brief, but I didn't know it was a short story. I should read it. It's just the thing is like for me, I'm kind of weird like that. Do you know what I mean? Like if I read the book first, then I watch the film. I'm like meh, and then
you got to read the book first.
That was one of the first. Like my first impression of it was the film. I didn't read it. So now it's like, if I read it, I'll just be like, meh. But apparently I won't be like, meh. It'll be okay.
Yeah, it was less than 200 pages according to Pat S. Yeah, Pat S. Demon with the Glass Hand and Soldier. Both are episodes written by the boob grabber of Outer Limits, especially Soldier. Yeah, Harlan Ellison sued James Cameron over that. He sued him over Terminator. That's why he said it sort of reminded him of Terminator. Well, it reminded Harlan Ellison of Terminator as well. He sued.
Yeah. And he won. And he won. He gets listed. Yep.
The Soldier, they're both sort of like it. They both have. It's interesting. Soldier is a good one as well. Michael Ansara's in that one. It's a good one also. I mean, I think Demon's better, but both of them have actually a lot of similarities to Terminator. I mean, he had a point.
Yeah, no, he was right on that one. Yeah, he's we know he's a grabber, and we don't approve of some of the things he did, and he was a crazy character. Sometimes some of these artistic people are eccentric, but of course that doesn't excuse obviously what him acting as a person. But I think he was right on that one. Yeah,
his work on B5 is excellent. He's the creative consultant for the whole show, and it makes such a remarkable difference. I mean, it's just so important. Clobby and I are talking about this all the time, but it's just so important to have one single author or one single creative person overseeing a project, so that there is one single unifying vision of what you are watching, and that vision is inspired. And so when you have people around you who are bringing a production together and you create that type of ecosystem, wow, having Harlan Ellison around just makes such a huge difference. It's such a good show.
Oh, he is. By the way, I'm double checking myself. I don't know if this is accurate or not, but they're saying it's only like 199 pages. It is a novel.
Yeah, I guess it is.
The Android Super Electric Sheep. It might just be a novel. Maybe I just thought it was a short story because he's done so many short stories. But anyway, 210 pages. So that means like 199 are the actual stories. So I guess it was originally a novel. Then okay, my bad. I just always. My assumption was every time I hear about a story, it was based on a short story by Philip K. Dick. So no, I could be wrong. Must have been, but I double checked myself.
Yeah, but you have good reason to say that. Didn't Philip K. Dick write like 600 short stories? Isn't he like he's getting up there like Edgar Allan Poe? Like he's written a lot of short stories. Like, and I could be wrong, but I think it.
Yes, he has.
You'd have to check. I think it's around like 500 or 600. That's a lot.
Yeah. Oh, and he did The Man in the High Castle. That's also the Amazon series. Yeah. Total Recall, Minority Report, Scanner Darkly.
That's another one that I've never read is Total Recall. I've only seen the film, and that's one of the reasons why I haven't read it, is because I watched the film. And I actually quite enjoy the film, although there are large sections of the film that I can't watch because it's too violent. So I cover my eyes, or I just turn my head away from it because it is just savagely violent. But such a great story, such a great science fiction story, and highly, highly enjoyable, but just so violent, so violent.
You know what's funny about what you say, Raquel, about being loving the short story format? It's funny because obviously I love it too, but since you're not a comic book geek like I am, we have this parallel love of, because I love the short story for the comic book art form as well, than the long drawn out. Oh my God, why are you writing for the trade paperback? Long ass saga. I think it works better for comics as well, and always have, especially for animated TV show like Batman animated TV series. So I do love that format. I love episodic fiction. I love Batman animated series, for example. Prove that Batman stories are better when they're shorter, because that's about the best writing ever done for the character. Just about, and even that's including a lot of comics. That show's so good. So I love that. I think a shorter story can. I mean, obviously nothing wrong with a big long story either, but of course, a shorter can carry a lot more impact sometimes.
Yeah, like I love Don Quixote, and I love the Iliad, and I love the Odyssey, and I love Bleak House, and I love Dune. Like I love very long novels, and they're wonderful. They're just absolutely incredible. But the problem is that with science fiction, I just find that it's I just really like the short story form for science fiction. I think it works really well with my taste in it, and I just find it really enjoyable. It's like, oh, you took me to that place. Oh, that's great, and getting to the point of it instead of making something very sweeping and very melodramatic and getting it too involved in the characters, because essentially, like, when you're looking at science fiction, you're really looking at idealizing futurism. You're really looking at how science, technology, and humanity are going to move forward, and dreaming about the good things and the bad things that can come out of those circumstances of us, seeking this progress in a perpetual state of progress. And so I find that you can stay so focused on the ideas when it's in science fiction, and I think that you might like it in comics as well, because comics, it takes you to that same, like, good versus evil, and you're looking at these things that happen. And so I kind of think of comic books as sitting in a really busy mall in the 1980s, when malls were very, very busy, and you could see all of these little vignettes, all of these little stories taking place. So
that's a good analogy.
I feel you.
We don't, and again, like you said, we like them both, because Babylon 5 is not a short story. It is it's one long story.
It is,
but he does break it into episodic bits as well. For example, there are episodes there are episodes that you could have never watched the rest of them, and someone could, for example, throw a certain episode, especially in the second and third season, could throw one at you, say, hey, just watch this, even if you never saw, watch it cold. You can watch that and get a lot out of it. Yes, it's better that you know the characters. I'm just saying, someone could be flipping the channels, for example, back when that was a thing, and land on a Babylon 5 in the middle of the third season. Oh, this is interesting science fiction. And they can watch it and go, wow, that was really good. If that, like, the episode we were talking about that you watched a couple days back, the one with brother Theodore, the one with you know what I'm talking about, the one with
the one where the convicts were white.
The personality.
You
could land on that episode and not really know the show, and get just, it's powerful, it's beautiful, it's moving, it's disturbing, it's all of those things. You could land on that one and many others I could think of and go, wow, and that might hook you to want you to go back and watch, go back. You could do that, just like you could do it with Star Trek, the original series. You land on a great episode, it might hook you. Other shows that are so wound up in their arc I can't stand that. For example, there's a balance to be had. Buffy the Vampire Slayer was a very good show, and it was great because, yes, each season had something of an arc, but there were plenty of standalone episodes that were individual stories. Babylon 5 the same way. They don't do that anymore. Now they don't make seasons of a show with episodes. They make chapters, and they don't end anything until they make their little 10 episodes and their 12 episodes and their whatever. They don't give you episodic fiction anymore with these shows.
I miss that so much.
I do too.
That's why I did love a show like The Outer Limits, or Star Trek was like that, or Emergency, or any show now. What happens? Every show now is a complete arc. So if you miss a few episodes, there's I can't even name a show where there's very few shows where you can just pick up the show and watch it.
Not one.
And DS9 probably the first.
Even DS9 you could do that with a little bit, but even that. But was it the first what now?
Well, the first Star Trek show that I guess was the Voyager was more or less had arcs to it too. I guess
It had arcs, but DS9 was the first one with arcs. But even still, there are a lot of really great individual episodes of it.
Yeah.
And even on Voyager, where they like showing up, there are individual episodes. Buffy was great at that, where they had some great episodes that were, standalone, and even if they were building up to an arc, and they would deal with the arc later. B5, of course, did it. However, now almost nothing does. I think the last two shows, in the 2000s, that I thought were really fun, crazy, enjoyable shows that you could watch an episode and you didn't have any continuity to worry about were Monk and Psych. Those were great shows. I loved them. Yeah. And you could watch an episode Monk was like watching Columbo. You watch a Columbo, and it's like watching a movie, except it was shorter. And you're done with it, and you can move on to the next adventure. And I miss that.
Yeah, and that's key. And I think now that they try and hook you into this idea of what's going to happen to that person, and then and it works if you're very attached to that person. Like, I very much cared about what happened to the man from La Mancha, and Sancho Panza, and I very much worried about what happened with the Muad'Dib. I wanted to know. And so it kept me going back for more. I did want to know what Achilles was going to do. But the thing is that I just don't think that today's writing is strong enough. I just don't care about these people. I don't care about these characters. They suck. And and I think that it would be nice if they could go back to the strength of just rooting for having adventures with that person in their life, instead of always worrying about what they feel and what they think, and if they're going to get married, if they're going to overcome their weakness, and so on and so forth. When we look at the filth, and obviously you guys have known this whole time I've been building up to talking about the filth, that's one of the reasons why I hated it. Like, it was just absolutely ridiculous. I'm not invested. So if it's not the Iliad, if it's not the Odyssey, if it's not Don Quixote, if it's not Dune or Lord of the Rings or something interesting where I care about the people, perhaps it might be a good idea for you guys to go back to the drawing board and just let us fall in love with these characters first. Let them have these adventures, and each week we'll tune in to them having another adventure. Then the strength is in the storytelling. The strength is in the ideas, instead of perpetually trying to get people addicted to watching people cry and whine.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%. That's why I Star Trek, when I first watched TOS, the characters are perfect. They're so well written. It just sucks you right in. And you don't need to know all the backstory. Just it's so well acted. And then you're watching the new junk, and it's just so poorly written that the only character that's semi-decent is Pike. A little, if I'm going to give any kind of credit to anything, it's and maybe the Admiral in the third season was written. Actually, he had some intelligence to him. But the rest of the show, it's just written so poorly. You don't even like the characters. That's the problem. So I'm watching it, I'm the nice guy. I'm always looking for something nice and something, and it's just like there's nothing like about these characters. It's like, Spock had a few flaws in the original series, but that's what you loved about the character. When he commits mutiny, there's in the cage, there's the story behind that. It's not just Mikey Spock just decided she's going to overrule her captain and start an intergalactic war. There were Spock was making a sacrifice there to save his captain and give him a future. It's just they don't understand, or they it's one thing to say something's bad, or this episode is start like we're watching TNG, you say, well, these episodes weren't good, but at no point does it not feel like this is in Star Trek. So that's the big problem we have with the new stuff. It just doesn't feel like
they're supposed to be exploring ideas, right? And I think that when you're looking at just episodes, you're looking at exploring ideas, and that's where it comes in, where the short story telling, where you can tell a taut, compelling story with great ideas, is hard work. And I think it's much easier to write a really bad story that's really long. Unplotting, and you're hoping at some point somebody's going to care about these people, because you're always showing that they have a lot of feelings,
Yeah.
and it's just not working. Let's go back to just telling, let's go back to the discipline of telling a really, really good story with really, really great ideas. And it's short, and you're going on all these little adventures. Show us that you have talent, instead of telling us a very long yarn that no one wants to hear about a lot of feelings. I'm so happy you have feelings. The Harlequin section of your local used bookstore is very big. You might not want to touch some of those books. You might want to wipe them off with some Purell first. But those
Fabio
books are
time.
there for you. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I remember you talking about long books. James Joyce, Ulysses, and years ago I did a lot. With computer work. One of my a friend of mine, his dad was research and read, and I had to copy the audiobook to CDs for him so he could listen in his car. So I think it was 30 CDs back in the day, and then
Wow.
then he called me. He's like, and someone stole it, and they broke his car, and they stole all the CDs
What?
of Ulysses. So I guess they just grabbed what was in there, but I could only imagine the person, whoever stole this, putting the CD on and listening to the audiobook of Ulysses and saying, "What the hell did I just steal?"
Yeah.
Wow.
Imagine how they felt. You even look at the Bible. The Bible is a series of short stories. I mean, people need to realize that it's okay to write episodes, and episodes can be tantamount to short stories, and people love that sort of thing. Take me on lots of adventures and explore ideas. I don't need a really super long arc where I worry about how you feel. There's already enough going on in the world. People have their own feelings. They don't want to deal with yours too.
Yep. Dadman makes a good point about that. The constant push to keep explaining everyone's origin stories went to indicate that there is a bankruptcy in generating creative ideas for new stories. I mean, you take a character like Columbo. All we know is he's got a wife that he molds. In spite of the series they made called Mrs. Columbo, he just mentions his wife every once in a while. You know nothing about that guy's personal life ever, and that show was so popular, so entertaining. Character was so great. You know nothing about his life. Ever.
So you mean what you're telling me is you don't want a reboot where you find out that while he was growing up, he got beat up every day on the school yard, and he liked peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and he had a pet goldfish that died, and he had to see a therapist because his mom made him flush it down the toilet himself. You mean you don't want to hear those stories, Chloe?
Excuse me, sir. I hate to trouble you. I know I've been really bothering you with all these questions, but do you mind if I tell you about my personal life a little bit?
You see
I can't do it.
Do you see what I mean? Like, I think that it's important for people to stop talking in such extremes all the time, and get down to the nuance and the nuances of these conversations that we really care about. It's not that we don't love this the long story form, and we don't have the appetite or the attention for it. It's just that you haven't proved that you can even do a short story yet. Can we just show me some ideas instead of feeling? Let's go there first.
Pat S. Thinks he snicked one by me, but I see that pineapple, dude. That's a reference to Psych, the show Psych. Every single episode, there's a pineapple hidden in some scene.
Is that kind of like Superman and Seinfeld yet?
Maybe, because Superman is in Seinfeld a lot. This is every episode.
Every episode, I think there's a Superman and Seinfeld.
I think every episode could be, yeah.
And welcome to Cal 48.
Hey!
He's another Star Trek.
Hello.
Star Trek buddy. Yep. So yes, Raquel is right, but sadly, modern day entertainment doesn't do that anymore. The writers either don't know how to do character development or don't bother trying. 100% right. Yeah,
and that is so fundamental to these longer story forms that we're doing. If we're going to have if we're going to have these big, long, epic stories and these operas in space, you're really going to have to work on creating these really super compelling characters that we care about. about. Instead of, whiny baby navel gazers who have difficulty glancing away from their mirrors. They love their reflections so much. And we're supposed to care that stuff happens to them. And they're not going anywhere or doing anything. They're not discovering anything.
Meanwhile, we've derailed Mark's stream.
This is awesome.
He's going to be talking about 3D printing.
I'm gonna clip the first half hour so people can just find that part. Then this is fun.
Yeah,
No, I'm not gonna dump it. I'll keep it. No, nothing. No. That I did my 3D printing stuff.
As long as you got done what you wanted to get done.
I got done what I wanted to do. No, this is awesome.
Thinking about that. Oops.
No, this is great. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. I'm still printing something, right? Yeah. Well, here I can show you what this was. Let me share the screen here. This is.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to apologize. The three of us are friends in real life. This is literally what we do when we're off camera. We just do this for hours. I know it's really bad. I apologize profusely for our behavior.
So here's some 3D printed stands here. This is at work, so those printed successfully. And Spock's giving the Vulcan salute there, saying that well done. Yeah, well done. Yep. So that worked. So nice. That's what we're printing tonight. So that's a simple one, but that was that was good. But no, I love hanging out with you guys. Yeah, this is fantastic. And I found the Outer Limits episode that I was looking for. So this was this one I remembered for years. So it's Dead Man's Switch. So it's season 3. Episode 13. So you can find this online. So Ben Conklin is given the assignment of spending 1 year in a bunker 11,000 feet beneath Alaska. He's told by General James Iger that a fleet of alien ships are heading towards the Earth as photographed by the Hubble telescope. So I love how they throw in the sci-fi there. Real science there. Yes. His job is to be a revenge weapon should the aliens turn out to be hostile and take over the world. The world's chemical, nuclear, and biological weapon stockpiles have been linked to create a doomsday weapon, like a Star Trek Corbinite maneuver in real life. Yep. 5 people are placed in 5 bunkers around the world: American, Russian, Chinese, African, and Australian. An alarm sounds randomly. At least one of the bunker occupants must hit the dead man's switch to disarm it. If a 30-second countdown passes and no one activates the switch, the doomsday weapon will fire and leave the surface of the Earth uninhabitable. To prevent them from being fed false information, the bunker occupants are sealed off from the world, aka no internet, and can communicate only with each other and the general in charge of the operation.
Why don't I remember this episode?
Oh, God, I love that episode.
It's the new Outer Limits, not the original.
Yeah, 1997.
I don't remember this one.
So it was just had a great twist in the end, and you're just thinking about what would you do if you're in that position. So that's
Do you see what I mean though? Like when you do short fiction forms with science fiction, I just think it's packaged very nicely for hard science fiction because then it's all about the ideas, it's all about the technology and the consequences, it's all about this futurism and how we're going to handle it. So I just absolutely love it. Short fiction forms, episodic storytelling suits science fiction so well, fits it so wonderfully.
Yep. No, 100%. So there's some clunkers in this, the show too. Obviously, one of the other ones that struck with me, being a scout leader, was one of the episodes they land on an alien planet, and the people and the humans were acting warlike and they're attacking the aliens and on the planet. And it turns out I'm not telling you the name of the episode; you won't remember it probably if you ever do watch it. But an alien ship turns up and they're incredibly powerful, and it's actually the girl Sarah Gilbert from Little House on the Prairies.
She was married to Bruce Boxleitner. But Bruce Boxleitner's first wife.
Yep. So she's in this episode.
I didn't know that. What?
Yeah,
she's in the episode, and she realizes that the aliens that they've been hunting down and killing are actually like scouts or Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts. And they've been placed. It's a camp on the planet. So then the alien ship takes all the data. They're incredibly powerful, and they said they're scanning our computers, and they find out where the Earth is located. And the last scene is they destroy the ship, and they're on their way to destroy planet Earth. And the military guys on the she keeps telling them, don't, let's try to be peaceful. Then maybe they're not here to harm us. And it's just the whole idea of that episode where, oh crap, they're actually scouts on a camping planet. It's a resort planet, for them to go camping. But those are those great, great short stories that.
Yes. It's just so wonderful for science fiction. It turns science fiction into a drug. Short fiction forms in episodes. Episodic storytelling. It turns science fiction into a drug because science fiction, especially hard science fiction, is about ideas. It's about technology.
Yep.
It's about how we're going to handle technology, how we're going to deal with it on a go-forward basis. And can I just say kudos to my captain for just like, I am an encyclopedia bombing our conversation. I had no idea that she was married to Bruce. That's crazy.
Oh yeah, yep. So I used to love her as a kid.
She's cute. Yeah.
She was my age, so
yeah, it's okay. Yep.
It was fine, but yeah, Little House on the Prairie, which I guess I did watch a little bit.
Yeah.
So amazing.
So Pat is if the aliens are advanced enough to travel this far, couldn't they trick the guys in the bunkers? Well, Pat S, you'll just have to watch the episode.
Yeah, you'll have to watch it to find out.
Then you do find out. Yep.
By the way, Pat S. That's right. Half pint was made. It's wrong. That's right. By the way, yeah, Pat S. Let me say something. Bruce Boxleitner was not only Tron. He was Frank Buck, which that show didn't last long. He was, he's Sheridan. What else did he do that I liked a lot? I always love that guy. I love Tron. You ever saw Breaking Back Alive? Mark, anyone on?
Never saw that. No.
Show? You ever heard of the world famous? I guess he was sort of like a safari man, adventurer named Frank Buck. Who was a real person, really lived in the 30s and 40s. Well, after Tron, they made us, because the Raiders of the Lost Ark was huge. So, Hollywood do. They're always going to have to rip off stuff. There were two shows that were Raiders of the Lost Ark rip offs, and neither one of them last. Tales of the Gold Monkey, remember that one?
Oh, I love that show. I have that on DVD.
Stephen Collins.
Yep, I have that.
And then Bring Him Back Alive with Bruce Boxleitner as Frank Buck, a real-life adventurer, African adventurer, like a Jungle Jim type of the real life and stuff. Didn't last long.
Sound familiar?
It didn't last too long. It was on CBS. But Cindy Morgan, who was, of course, his girl in Tron, was the lady on there. And yes, that's right. He was on Scarecrow and Mrs. King. That's right. That's the other one.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. And what else? Man, what else is a love Boxleitner? And I mean, he was in the whole How the West was one in the 70s. So he was in that one too. So yeah. But anyway,
he's a great actor. Yeah. Great actor.
I always loved that guy. Of course, it's Tron. And when I saw him, when he was going to be on the captain on Babylon 5, I'm like, Tron's going to be on Babylon 5. Boom.
Of course you said that. I love you so much.
I couldn't remember. Whoa, Tron? Yeah, because at first I was like, because now that you're past that point, Raquel, I warmed up to Sinclair. I mean, it was awkward. I liked him, and it wasn't like I was doing backflips over him, but I got used to him. He's kind of like. He's just a different kind of a cat, but he's okay. He's doing a good job. I've started to say, okay, I can't wait to see what they do going forward. I like the show. And then he's gone? What? But it's Bruce Boxleitner, so I guess that's okay. It's kind of a little of a shock. A couple episodes in, I'm like, oh, my Sheridan's the man.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened to me. So I met Sinclair, and I thought, oh, honey, you have a very weird rhythm to your speech, and you're overacting. You need to relax. And sort of like the beginning of DS9 with a certain captain. Yeah. And then I started to like him, and then I did the worst thing I could possibly do. I had heard some buzz online that I was going to be shocked by the switch of captains. So being who I am, I went and did a whole bunch of research on it. And when I found out that he's an Irishman. His last name is O'Hare. Yeah, I was going to say O'Hara. I wasn't sure. But when I found out that he had paranoid schizophrenia, he started hearing voices and was having a terrible time on set. I was heartbroken. And I read that in several places on the internet. So, I assume it's true. I haven't read his biography or anything like that. But then I felt broken for him. I thought, wow,
Very sad. Yeah.
imagine starting off your career and getting a big break and getting a beautiful show like this, and you're on set and you just start hearing voices. And then Clobby and I, the first thing I did is I go to one of my best friends in the whole world to talk about this. So I get on with Clobby and I start talking to him about it. And Clobby informed me that the gentleman in charge of the show actually wound up paying him for
the whole time the show was on. He paid him.
Yeah,
Even though he was off the show. Yeah,
yeah, and
That's such a nice thing to do.
Yeah, and he passed away, and I think it was related to his illness. And I'm not hard and fast on it now, you guys. That's a while back there when I didn't look it up, so please don't hold me to it. But I was just shattered for him, and I just then I started to identify with him as a person. I thought, oh, your family, like everyone must be shattered about this happening to you, you poor man. And so and plus I'm not someone who's really good at changing captains. I didn't really warm up to Picard, so I was worried. And then in walks Bruce, and I just, after 3 episodes, I was just completely in love with him. It's just is such a gentleman, so wonderful. He's romantic, but not too romantic, where it's oh, Ram.
That'll be clipped. Yep.
Yeah. So, you feel so much for him. He's very, very dignified, but also very connected. And he also has exceptional leadership. You know how Kirk is a very good leader? He is also an incredible leader, unlike Picard, who's not so good at leading. Sometimes he's not good at trusting his people or letting his people do their thing. So anyway, Clobby, I had the same experience you had, and I probably spoiled it for myself and liked the first guy off the hop because I found out what happened to him. So God rest his soul, and I think he passed away, and I think it was related to his illness. But
it was
poor guy.
Yeah, Straczynski, everyone kept that under their hat until a good number of years. Straczynski didn't even talk about it with a lot of people until a good number of years after O'Hare had already passed. Then he said, it's been long enough now, and he told things. So a lot of the things we do know, we didn't know till 4 or 5 years after he was gone. And Straczynski did interviews about him. He was a friend. He cared about him. Like I said, he kept him on the payroll, and long after he was gone, didn't have to do that. Did everything he could to help him, which was very good of him. But as far as Sheridan, there were times, especially back when we were the first time when we were watching it when the show was running in the 90s, he would do something, and when we would talk about, man, that was so Kirk of him.
Yeah,
he's not the same exact character type, but he's same kind of captain. And we would go, oh man, that is just so Kirk of him. That was Kirk, because Kirk's the gold standard. I mean, if someone's doing something great as a captain, you're saying they're pulling a Kirk.
Yeah. Just like somebody who would be an actual good leader in real life. So they make the character so believable and so good with people and so good with ideas and so good with judgment that you believe them as a leader. And that's why Kirk is far and away the greatest captain in
absolutely
perhaps in all of television science fiction. And
the as I say, like the deadly years when he's aged and the Commodore is going to destroy the ship, and Kirk gets the injection and he races to the bridge and he saves the day. And it's just such a fantastic scene. I'm paraphrasing, but the Commodore says, "Now I see why starship captains are so special," or why you.
Yeah, even in Trek 5, you can say what you want about Trek 5. I love it. I mean, it gives me the fanboy goosebumps every time when the heavy metal Klingon realizes it's Kirk being dispatched, and he thinks Enterprise, that's Kirk's ship, and I could defeat Kirk. And the woman says, "You would be the greatest warrior in the galaxy." I'm like, yes. That's exactly. Yeah. Kirk is, and even what's his face in Trek 6 said, "I'm so honored to meet you, Captain." That's one warrior to another, and then Kirk is he's the gold standard. What is it with you Canadians making great captains? I mean, Boxleiter's Canadian, Boxleiter's Canadian, Shatner's Canadian, and of course Captain Reynolds is a pretty good captain on Firefly. Nathan Fillion,
Yep.
Canadian. You ever watch
Yes.
Firefly? Any one of you? Anyone?
Yeah.
Yes, I watch Firefly, and I currently live very close to Fillion's hometown.
I used to
Wow.
love that show, and I loved it. It's
Yeah.
just that's one of the biggest tragedies ever in all of television that it got cut short and then Whedon destroyed it.
Yeah.
Jackass. But
But Sheridan,
Lord.
he is special. He is
Sheridan is special.
It is a very, very special person who you buy as a good leader in real life. He believes in his people. He treats his people with dignity. He relies on their expertise, but he also knows when to take over the Mumbari ship and make it happen for the Mumbari and leave a bewildered and delighted look on Lanier's face when they realize the brilliance of his leadership. So he's fantastic, and I just absolutely love him. And I feel so bad for what happened to Sinclair.
I love his
O'Hare.
Oh yeah, absolutely. In the episode we were talking about the one about the death of personality, that sort of thing with the brother Theodore, whatever that guy's name.
Yeah.
I love Sheridan's response when the hate welling up in him for what that guy does to the Brad Dourif character was his brother or whatever he was.
Yeah.
Brother Ted. I can't remember his name now, but anyway, the character's name. When he realizes what has happened, he wants to kill that guy. I mean, he's just, and then when he sees when the guy comes in after when his killer comes in and he has gone through the death of personality thing, and then Sheridan meets him, and he's touched such a different, peaceful person or whatever after he wanted to beat the crap out of the guy. That's some great character moment there for Sheridan, I thought.
Well, I think it's an extremely political episode, and because it's not hyperdidactic, it doesn't moralize and seek to educate you on anything. Instead, it does, in the great Star Trek, the original series tradition, it actually presents an idea and then challenges what you think you might feel about that issue on both sides. And so that's what I found so compelling. And certainly those last few minutes of it are so cerebral. And that exact moment you're speaking of, it really, really, you walk away and the first thing you start saying to yourself, and, without being political here, because I don't like being political, but
Yep.
But the first thing you're doing is you're walking away, and no matter how you vote and how you feel politically, the first thing you say to yourself is, okay, so where does this sort of redemption begin? When do we cut off and wipe the slate clean? And if we did it for one, can we do it for another? And I just feel so terrible for him in that moment, because he was fighting for the first gentleman's redemption. He all he saw him was this kind entity, this person who gave his life to serve others and was so gentle and making these little sculptures and was just this ultra uber kind person. And then yet his killer winds up being in the exact same position. And so we see this cycle of violence also. And when do you break the cycle of violence? So you start to ask yourself questions about crime and punishment, and when you can rehabilitate people. So it is an extremely compelling episode. And if you go to it by yourself with your own thoughts, it will challenge what you think you believe and what you think you feel about those issues in a really great way, because it doesn't decide anything for you. You have to do that work yourself.
They got kind of political on an episode in the Sinclair season when they had the dock strike, the dock workers strike.
Oh yeah.
Remember they were on strike, and they named the act that is a union-busting, union-suppressing strike after Rush Limbaugh. I don't know if you remember that one.
They did on the show, yeah.
Yeah, they called it the Rush Act, and that was political.
Okay.
Now, Jerry Doyle was right-leaning libertarian, as JMS was a left-leaning guy, and they were best of friends, just like Box Leitner was right-leaning, and the guy who played Sinclair, he was left-leaning. It didn't matter, because back then, yeah, they did that. They got a little political with that, but for the most part, they still, they could put that in there. You could say that's about as political as it ever got. And someone told Rush about that back when it happened. Rush never watched that show or science fiction. Anything like that. You know what he did? Did he get mad? Did he bitch about him? He laughed. He thought it was funny.
Yeah.
Care?
You have a sense of humor.
Yeah, but that even in that episode, though, it opens up the issue, but it doesn't. It's not hyper didactic insofar as it doesn't start browbeating you and telling you exactly what you should think and feel about that issue. Sorry to interrupt you, gentlemen. Dadman Walking, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you for listening to three friends just
hang out. I actually got to talk to Dadman in person for the first time playing Fortnite. So a few nights ago. So
cool.
we won a few matches without Clobby, which was amazing. So usually good, but so it was great to talk to him in person and
cool.
His
hang out
wife
with
is
him.
learning how to play with you guys too. And guess who her teacher is?
Who?
Our Esh. Our
great.
Esh Singh
Awesome.
is teaching her how to play. So to the Dadmans, you're listening at this point, but no longer participating in the live chat. We absolutely love you, the whole community. To the whole Dadman Walking family, Mr., Mrs., and the little ones that are there as well, or well, not little, but perhaps young. Good night, and thank you so much for joining us.
And the Dadmans were on Ord's channel last night. There was a Dadman Fortnite last night. So I was watching a little bit. I couldn't be in the chat that much, but I was watching Dadman and Mrs. Dadman play Fortnite with Ord. So try to find that on the replay. It was fun.
I love that there's such great parents too, that they can be heavily involved in a chat that they love, and it's talking about an IP or something that they really like. But the minute that their kids or their kid, I'm not sure how many kids they have, but the minute that they go into parent mode, they're like, they immediately tell everyone in the community, we're in parent mode now, we're leaving, goodbye. And they go and they support their kid or their children, right? So I just love that about them. Great parents. So
absolutely.
Ash is a great guy. Yep.
Yeah, great guy. Yeah, that was
So I did find
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, I did find the link to, you can watch all the Outer Limits episodes, the new one, for free on the Roku channel, which is great. There's a lot of free stuff out there. Probably not in Canada. Sorry, Raquel. But the Roku channel, I was just looking at that too. I mean, Tubi is great, and Roku channel has a ton of stuff out there that you can, if you go to it, you can watch for free without subscribing to anything. So I'd recommend checking that out and finding those. And they have the original Outer Limits too that you can watch for free, which is great. So there's a lot of good stuff that you can watch for free. The internet is a wonderful thing for certain things other than some of the social media stuff that we don't like. But it's incredible. Fathers Knows Best is on there. Yep, with some great Star Trek actors from that series, right?
Yeah.
We had a couple of cameos from Fathers Knows Best, right? Yep.
I was so tempted to try to tell you, Raquel, man, how about all the Star Trek actors you're going to see on B5? But I wanted you to experience that for yourself. And I know you're sitting there going, "Oh my God, he was in Star Trek. She was in Star Trek." They got one of the original, an actual regular, as in Walter Koenig, who is brilliant as Bester, and you get a couple of cameos from semi-regulars, like Nigel Barrett, of course.
Yes.
And then you got a lot of people who've just been, at that time, actors. I can't tell you how many times I would see somebody. Billy Mumy was on an episode of Deep Space Nine, so there's a crossover. But there were almost everybody has crossed over from Trek to that at one point or another. I mean, even in the main B5 cast with Billy Mumy there, for example, and Andreas Kostoulis. Jakar, what a great character, by the way. He's getting so much. Wow. So it's weird stuff. By the way, it was Dadman that tweeted out tonight that told me that the CFL, Canadian Football League, started tonight. Man,
tonight it started?
Yeah. I wanted to. Since I've given up the NFL, I thought maybe I'll start watching that, but I don't have TV anymore. So.
I love the Canadian.
We don't have that anyway.
The Canadian anthem is so great, too. I love the Canadian anthem. It's a great anthem.
I would watch that. Since I would watch some CFL.
Do you want me to tape it?
Nah,
I'll
gotta
tape
wa-
it and send
You
it
got to
to
be
you.
able to find the CFL,
I would
right?
I don't have TV.
100% do that for you.
Doug
I got rid of
Flutie
my.
time.
I got rid of DirecTV. I don't have any cable or anything anymore. In
Oh.
fact, since I want to watch college football, I guess I'm gonna have to go out and get a digital antenna or
Aw.
something. But I had to
Yeah,
get
well,
rid of
that's a good way to do
DirecTV.
it. Yeah, no, that's a good. I have a digital.
Yeah, but
antenna,
they're
too.
expensive. I mean, I don't know.
No,
They're just
like 50
but I mean,
bucks. Or 30
around. I
bucks.
know, but that's good. But the thing is around here. I don't know. Maybe they've improved. I don't know because I only wanted one to get to watch MeTV and have local channels in case I need one. I never watch any TV. No one who does anymore. Any regular
Yeah, I don't watch
TV.
that. I watch
I don't watch any
YouTube now.
terrestrial TV. Don't watch much of it, but I
Well,
kind
it's
of want
all
to watch
filth.
local.
It's
Yeah,
all
it is.
filth all
It's
the
all filth.
time.
Yeah, but I want to have it in case I need it for like local emergency crap, or if I want to watch some college football since I
That's
can't
the
watch the
thing
pros
that
anymore.
I find the most troubling, the most worrisome. You know, when we had analog TV, when there was a tornado or a hurricane or something bad happening, we knew the emergency broadcast system would come through and you know, and everyone had like these 3 free channels where you could reach out across the nation and we would be joined by these 3 channels. And of course,
Yep.
we don't have that now, and it's quite dangerous if you live somewhere where you can be impacted by severe weather. So, yeah, really super scary. But I wanted to interject because I wanted to ask Mark what brand you have and if you could recommend one to Clobby, because you said you can get them for $50.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
So I was just actually doing that right now. I was going to show. Let me share my screen.
Can
I
you
went
do
and
that?
picked that- I went a
we
few years
think
ago, I
alike.
went to get one a few years ago and I tried it and ended up bringing it back to the store because it wouldn't work where I am at all. All I wanted was to be able to watch MeTV. Which we do have. We have a MeTV affiliate. That's pretty cool. But there you go.
Yeah, no. So it actually where I live, I'm pretty close to New York City.
Yeah.
So I get gorgeous reception. So so this is like a website that gives you the you go by your zip code. So let's see, where's home reception map? Let's see, where's this? I must be missing something here. Well, here's the I don't know if you want to give out your zip code if you don't want to do that. But,
No.
So, but let's just pick. I'm gonna pick like New York City, say, right? New York, yeah. So
It'll show you what it's showing you where you can get one.
it'll show you if
coverage
you
area.
go to this website. It's actually
Okay.
fcc.gov, and it'll tell you if you're in New York,
Yeah.
New York City, what channels you'll get.
We got a lot of channels.
So,
for
so
digital.
how much is it going to cost to get somebody out onto
Yeah.
the roof to put that up for him?
No, you can actually do it inside.
I was just getting
inside
inside one.
inside the house,
Oh,
or
okay.
if you have access to the. I don't know if you have an attic or not. Like I stuck mine in the attic.
No,
But let's. But yeah, you can. HD.
I just need a little one. I mean,
Yeah,
last time I got one, I couldn't get
That works.
MeTV because they're a little farther out there. They're kind of a small. That's the only reason I tried to get one before. I mean, I had DirecTV for over 20 years.
Yeah, the one that I have was discontinued. Let's see. There's
Dadman
an
Walking makes a very good suggestion here as well.
Sling,
He says,
yeah.
Clobby looking into Sling or YouTube TV streaming and their sports packages as a way to get college football. And you can cancel when the season is over. Yeah, that's true. You know, wow, you can get so many things on YouTube now.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm getting so many suggestions now for like my movies and stuff like that. It's crazy. And it's one click buy. It's one click and you're watching it. But I didn't know that they did sports. Thanks for that, Dad Man.
Yeah, I'll probably just try to order one and
Yeah,
one of
like
these
this one
basic
has-
little ones that I can just put on the TV there. That's all I need. I mean,
Yeah, you just
I'll
stick it up.
never watch it other than once in a while. I might turn the thing on and see if I could. If I got MeTV, I'd probably turn it on a little bit though. MeTV is amazing. Everyone in the world's got it, but us. DirecTV wouldn't carry it. The jerks.
Well, here's MeTV here, right? In New York.
Yeah, you guys have that. Oh, so cool.
33. Yep. So there was. I'm trying to find it, but there was a website that told you how to point your antenna, which was pretty cool. So like that's what I used for my antenna. So it told you like which direction to point. So if we just put in.
That was a good number of years ago. I tried it. I'll try it again. Maybe I'll get a good one. It's kind of way out there.
I love that we're doing like on Mark's show what we do in private. Just fully.
Yeah. So
We're
here-
so
let's see.
bad. Sorry, everyone who's watching. They're like,
Wow.
who are these people?
He's got Mannix is on right now. Damn you, but that's don't tell me that. And I love Mannix. Desi Lou. That's from Lou. Desi Lou. Just like Star Trek.
Desilu.
So this
Man,
will
it's
tell
so
you
cool.
tell you all the
There's New Orleans,
channels
huh?
here. Yep. I'll find it, but there was a
about Baton
website
Rouge?
where, let's see, Baton Rouge. Yep.
Red Stick.
I can't type.
It's Red Stick, of course. Whoop, you're almost there.
Wait, how do I spell root? I can't
There
spell
you
it
go.
either.
So last week, if you're still with us in the chat and these guys are looking at this, I'll bring this up since we'll go back to science fiction. Guess what I watched last week?
What did you watch?
My Favorite Martian.
Oh, Bill Bixby and Ray Walston.
With the Hulk.
Not the
I-
movie, I hope.
No, I watched the TV show.
Oh, cool.
And oh my goodness, it is so good.
I
I
love it.
howled. I have. It's been so long since I belly laughed like that. And,
yeah.
and David Banner he's so cute when he's this young.
Bill Bixby was great. You know, he was on 3 different. I mean, he was on. All right, he was as far as well-known shows. First, it was My Favorite Martian, The Courtship of Eddie's Father. Then he was on a short-lived show called The Magician that they used to run on the Sci-Fi Channel, the series collection, and then The Hulk. So he's been on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the Magician?
No, I haven't seen. So what a great memory you have to remember.
That was a good show.
It
didn't last long.
I'm telling you, like he's just
Yeah.
his brain is just unbelievable. I just love him.
I can't remember anything what I did 5 minutes ago. Come on.
The grand curator, like he's the ultimate librarian, the ultimate computer for all of geekdom.
It was kind of an adventure show. It didn't last that long, and it's kind of funny because when they had a Hulk episode where they brought Ray Walston back to have like a little fun, like a reunion type show of My Favorite Martian, but on the Hulk, the Incredible Hulk show, and so they called it My Favorite Magician. That episode, and Walston played a magician on there. It was a reference, like a little sly little reference to the magician.
Cool.
I don't know how the magician didn't last long though. Remember when the Sci-Fi Channel was? Anyone remember when it was actually good in the early 90s?
Yeah.
When it first started?
Yep.
Yeah.
They had this nightly show called the Series Collection, they would specialize in showing shows that were very, very short-lived, just so that because it never got any syndication, which was great. And they
like
showed the
Parker
magician on that
Stevenson
one.
show that you love.
They showed They showed Probe on that, and of course, because by then I'd already watched every episode a million times, I was pissed that they butchered it on there. I got better copies, but they cut stuff out. I was so mad. But because I know every inch of dialogue in those shows, I'm sick about it. But they showed The Immortal with you ever see The Immortal with Christopher George?
Nope.
Lasted 1 season. He plays a guy who's like this race car driver. He's in his 40s, but he looks 30 to everybody. I mean, he still kind of looks old to me. And he gets his blood tested because and some billionaire finds out with these doctors, his blood is such that if you get a transfusion from him, he got a transfusion from from the race car test driver, and it healed the dying billionaire. So they realized that his blood turns people, he's immortal, and his
Makes you
blood
immortal.
can regenerate. So they puts him in a prison under his mansion because he wants to keep the guy, so he can keep his blood, keep him
Forever.
safe, so he can never get hurt. Right. So he escapes, and it's about him, the fugitive, basically plot,
Oh, that's
where he's
a great
running
set.
from this
premise.
and this guy and his bloodhounds, because of his immortal blood. That was a
Wow.
good show.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
So
much
here-
stuff does not appear here in Canada, even if it's on the science fiction network like Sci-Fi and all of those other channels. There's so much Canadian content up
miss,
here,
yeah.
and so many rules and regulations up here that's why I miss all this stuff.
Oh,
So here's the website where you can put in your that I remember. It tells you the direction
Can you send that to him over Twitter, please?
Yeah, I'll send that. Yep. So it shows you the
Thanks.
direction and what you get. This was the website. Yep.
Yeah, let's get that set up perfectly so that, because if his reception is crap, at least we can fix it now, right?
Yeah. And the other website that is really great is lowcast.org, but it's only certain cities. And this is actually a great tip for everyone out there. If you live in one of these cities and you go to lowcast.org and you make a account for free, they do bug you every once in a while to donate $5. You know, they want you to pay, but it's not for profit. And it's all the broadcast stations that you would get over the air on the internet, but it's only in certain towns. So if you were in Dallas, if you're in Dallas, you could watch this. It knows. Maybe you could use a VPN to get around it. I'm not sure. But it knows where you are. And you could literally watch everything that's being broadcast over the air through the internet. And there's also an app for the iPad and that. So that's, and it has live sports too. Oh, sorry. Yep. Where's Mannix?
Oh, you had Me TV. What a song Me TV.
There we go. Yep. Mannix. Yep.
And then Cannon and Barnaby Jones. Let's see.
He doesn't miss. Listen, Mark, he doesn't miss a thing, okay? He's like me. It's like the second he sees a detail, he's like, detail, must compute detail. Details.
It's like the Quinn Martin block, Cannon, and Cannon was a spinoff of Barnaby Jones, by the way. Didn't last as long, though. William Conrad as Cannon. Oh, my, what's that on? Oh, we don't have that. Decades. That looks like an interesting tip. Phil Silvers. Car 54. The Many Loves of Toby Gillis. Abbott Costello Show. Holy crap, dude! That's a good channel.
Yeah, and that's over the air. Yeah, so that's if you're in Dallas, you could watch this.
Jimmy Swaggart's on. No thanks.
Yeah,
you know where he broadcasts out of, don't you?
No, where?
Clapping Rouge.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's where I got married in his stupid church.
What?
In Jimmy Swaggart's church when I got married in 1986. Yeah.
Holy.
Yeah, I wasn't proud, but we got it for free, so we got it for free. Cannon, man. Cannon was spun off, or was it bought? No, Cannon was spun off from Barnaby. That's right.
You would never think he would give anything for free.
My uncle was a member of that church. He one of the wings. But yeah, he I heard when they had that big scandal of him in the 80s or whatever. His wife was pretty pissed. She chased him all around the church and finally caught him by the organ. But I'm sorry. No one's listening.
Yeah.
Oh, well, man. I like that schedule. Cannon. Pastor Galactica.
Clubby, you're my favorite person in the whole wide world. I love
That's
you.
That's an old stupid joke. Which Galactica is it? Is it
the new Galactica
Starbuck or Boy Starbuck? Oh, okay.
Girl, yep.
Gotcha.
I guess they're
okay. Is that a regular channel? Okay, gotcha.
Comet TV, yeah. So I don't know but this is all over the air, yeah.
Oh, Three's Company.
Yeah.
Barney Miller. God, what a great show that was.
God, that's so good, yeah.
Barney Miller's a great show.
Oh God. And the kids I don't think they ever see this stuff today too, probably, right? I mean, I don't
they're rerunning a lot of, but no, Antenna TV, I've heard of that one. We don't have that either. Yeah, they still run this stuff. So look at these blocks though. Look at this. I've always wondered about this. Look, they don't just because those are half-hour shows, right? Mm-hmm. Barney Miller and look at them. They always do them these hour blocks now.
Yeah,
you notice that?
All the commercials. Together, it's all the commercials. It's the commercials that are carrying the shows, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. When I still had DirecTV, once in a while I'd just flip when I'm bored and I would find these channels way up. There's like 1,000 channels, and I would find some of them that would be showing Barney Miller. And recently I watched a few of those, and they would be showing T.J. Hooker 5 in a row or whatever it is.
I love T.J. Hooker. Yeah.
I like the Nimoy episode. I know you've seen that one, Raquel.
I have not seen that since it aired. I've not watched any TJ Hooker reruns. I watched TJ Hooker.
It was on the regular network.
I'm old.
I watched the Nimoy episode of Columbo a few weeks back just for the hell of it. Flipping through on Tubi. I'm sitting going, what do I want to watch? And I said Columbo. I'm flipping and watching all the different guests. Oh, a Nimoy one? I can't remember if I ever watched that one. Let me watch it. Let me see. But do I want to see him? Do I want to see Spock as a murderer? Oh, well. What the hell?
Yeah.
Maybe
it's hard.
Not, yeah.
It's hard.
All right. Well, I think we went through 3.5 hours. That's probably a good. That's probably a good
Cool chat.
Everyone
wait,
at home, we would 100% not be ending if this were a private conversation. We actually just went off the rails of Mark's wonderful show on 3D printing, so he's going to trim this off. And I hope he'll
Sorry,
love
dude.
it. But
No, it's awesome. Yeah, I appreciate you guys being here.
Thank you so much for sticking with us tonight.
And we're gonna hang out for another 3 hours on the private chat.
On the after show.
After show, yeah.
We're sick in the head, everyone at home. We're sick in the head.
But thanks you
everybody.
for everyone to watch. And thanks for have a great well, no, it's tomorrow. Depending where you are, have a great Friday. I guess we're into Friday now in my time zone. But yeah, it's been awesome hanging out with everyone. Yeah, and I'll trim that spot out. So if anyone wants to learn about 3D printing, 3D printing that. Those stands, yeah. That way you'll know how to do it, yeah, without watching the other 3.5 hours. So, and everyone, yeah, watch Saturday Night Star Trek with Raquel and Clobberin Times, of course.
Pat, don't
fun,
forget to reach out to Mark and get those stands.
Yep.
Yeah. Take it easy, Pat.
Send me your address. Yep.
Pat,
Thanks,
brother.
Pat.
Yep. Good night, everyone. Yep.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.